Okay. Y'all ready for this good info? Okay. Cause shoot, I talked for a little too long yesterday. Yeah, I got here. What? For what?
We show them all the time.
I gotta put them all in here. Cause I was at sick, I put them all in here, and I was, but you're good. I got everything for you, in case. Okay.
If not, just take it.
But you do your thing, cause I know you got.
I'm good.
You did all of them to death?
Yeah.
You already did their evaluations?
I didn't tell them.
That's what I'm saying. Go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay.
So we ain't gotta do it later.
All right.
All right. Y'all can see me. Y'all can hear me. All right. E-files. How many of y'all are using them already? For my new folks, because I don't know where Tyshell is today, but it's just two of y'all. I'm talking to two of y'all today. You're using one. So you know you already got all your e-file skills, or you feel confident with it, or you still a little nervous about using it. And you should be, because it could be, dangerous if you slip or.
You told us when you cut that person.
Oh yeah,
I was on the lowest.
Oh yeah, I cut somebody bad one time. Sent her to the ER, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So, electric filing theory and demo. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So what we're going to learn, and for those of you that are on the live, which we just went live on TikTok, we're also live on YouTube. You can follow along. This will not stay up for you guys forever. This is just one-time deal. Okay. So we are going to talk about the importance of learning this skill, which you've named one already. We're going to talk about different types of electric files that are out there, which we just were donated a couple of e-files from one of my former students. We got some new ones over there, which is great, that will that I'm able to show you guys the difference between them. We're also going to talk about different features that you need to look for on an e-file, because most of us are just going on Amazon and buying them, right? And just not really knowing what type to get, what features to look for. These are very important things that you need to know. Good morning, everyone. We're also going to talk about bits, and that's probably the most confusing part about e-file. Like, what do I use? Can I put this on a natural nail? What do I use to do a cut down? What do I use to do around the cuticles? We're going to talk about all that today, okay? We're also I'm going to demonstrate some electric filing techniques, okay? And you guys are going to get a chance to file repeatedly on the egg. An egg. Not a boiled egg, not a hard-boiled egg, a raw egg. So if you crack it, guess what? I hope you wore your uniform today so you can go home and wash it, not mess it up. All right, we're also going to talk about electric filing for pedicures, because having an electric file during a pedicure is very helpful. Okay, very helpful, especially people who have high arches and things like that. Good morning. Good morning. All right. We're also going to talk about troubleshooting. Okay, we even had some students yesterday that had some issues with the e-file, even after I just, did the class. So there's some things that you need to know, so that way when your when you're doing a client and your e-file just stops working for some reason, you're like, well, damn, it was just working a minute ago. It could be one of the safety features that's on there that's preventing it from working, and you need to know these things so you don't get embarrassed, okay? And then we're going to talk about some safety tips, all right? Safety tips for e-filing, so that you don't cut yourself, cut your client, things of that nature. Very important stuff, okay? Y'all ready? So, to my two new students sitting in front of me, and any of my seniors that are listening, why do you need to learn this stuff? What's the importance of learning the electric file? Because you don't have to use one. What would be a reason why you would want to learn it? Yes, efficiency means faster. You're more efficient, right? Because you're going to be able to do these nails a whole lot quicker. Your speed is going to be up for those of you that have tried doing nails, even on yourself, right? How long does it take you to do it with a hand file? Too long. She's like, too long. Too long, right? So, huh?
I said it come out so nice.
they come out really nice, right? But at the end of the day, it's no client wants to sit with you unless if you're doing something, they ain't got no choice. If it's something, you're doing hand painted nail art, you're doing extra long nails, like they need to know that this is going to take a while. But you want to minimize how much time you're spending, because time is what? Money. And we like money. What else is another reason why you may want to learn this skill? Very, very good. Protecting your client. Ty, thank you so much on the chat. She said you need to learn how to protect your client, because if you're just picking up an e-file and you're just brand new with it, you can hurt somebody. I told y'all the story. You probably heard the story about when I was working on a client one time. I had just picked up a brand new e-file. I was like, I'm gonna buy all these bits. I bought all these bits, and I picked up an e-file bit that was an extra coarse, and I'm just on the client's nails, and I'm filing, and that bit whipped around her finger like this, cut her off like a perfect laceration. It almost looked like her finger was about to be cut off. It just cut. She needed stitches. I had to send her to the emergency room to get stitches. Thank God I had insurance, liability insurance, which you all should get. Before you start taking clients and charging them, you need the minimum of $1 million of liability insurance. That sounds like a lot. It's about $700 a year. So we're talking 30, 40 bucks a month, 40 bucks a month, 45 bucks a month, whatever that is. That's worth it, because that ER visit cost me $5,000 for her to get a couple of stitches. And would you believe that woman came back later and said, "Can you finish my nails?" She said, "Can you finish my nails? I need my," I said, "You get 9 fingers. She gave her a 9-finger discount. Okay. And she, because I couldn't work on that other finger. So, they got y'all know it's springtime. They got the slingshots out with the loud music. That's what's playing over there. Somebody in a slingshot. I like slingshots. I wonder if they're like driving a motorcycle. So, it's a useful tool. Okay, very useful tool. It is not required, but it is a useful tool. It is going to require some additional training. When I should have gotten trained, I picked up that e-file and just started using it. If I had training on what those bits did, like you guys are going to get today, I promise you that never would have happened. It never would have happened. Okay, now you also need to have a thorough understanding. It's very important that you are well versed in not only the bits but also the troubleshooting part, because some of these e-files will stop working for some simple reason, like you didn't lock the bit. Okay, turn the locking mechanism on. Okay, and this is going to also, learning how to use an e-file, it's going to open up your nail art skills as well. Have y'all ever seen these nails, like let's just say like those unicorn horn looking ones? It looks like they carved, instead of the 3D, they carve it on inward, and they make little lines on. There's all types of things you can do with an e-file with nail art. Also putting holes in the nails for piercings. An e-file, how would you do that any other way? How would you make a hole in it? I mean, you can't just take a hole punch a hole in. You can the plastic tip, but as far as like this nail art and stuff that you got, putting chains and stuff on these nails, you're definitely going to want to have an e-file make your life a little bit easier. Okay, someone said on the chat, which is very, very true, in some states it's a requirement for you to have e-file certification training in order to work on an e-file on people. You would think that would be every state, right? But Georgia does not require it. But I highly recommend, if you plan to, move around, get around, go to other states, play around in other, other countries, things like that, that you have this training. Okay. So where are you going to get this training at, though? Not just in school. Obviously, you're going to get it here. But where could you get advanced training from? Where else could you get it? So we talked about the Premier Orlando show that we're going to in June, right? I promise you, you're going to see tons of people selling e-files, selling bits, selling stuff like, you remember you went with me one year, that they are all over, and they offer training for everything that they sell. Okay, so there's a couple of places I'm going to tell you that you should buy your bits from. Okay, y'all want to write this down, or at least put a little, bookmark on your in the internet. Okay, Atwood Industries. Atwood Industries. Google it. I'm not sure of the exact website, but Google Atwood Industries. They sell some of the most high quality, amazing bits out there. One of the places you can go. Okay, Atwood Industries. They are always at the show. I know the owner personally. You can walk up to him. He's always there. You can text them. You can email them. They have education on their website free. When you buy a bit, say y'all heard of these like tornado bits and these $35, $40 bits. They offer training on how to use those. What's the best way to use them? Which speeds and all of that stuff. So take advantage of that free education. Another place that I'm going to tell you to go is Erica's ATA. I cannot remember what ATA stands for. Erica's ATA. She sells a bunch of bits, as well as she has training on there. She has e-files. She's got professional files that are required for, well, not required, but if you're going to be doing advanced nail technician type skills, meaning working with the elderly and people who are chronically ill and they're taking care of their feet, she's got some of the best products on the market that you can buy from. Okay, get your bits from. Another place is CJ's Center for Beauty, and she spells center with a R-E at the end. I'm like, CJ, ain't you from the U.S.? I think that's like a European thing. Yeah, Center, C-E-N-T-R-E, CJ's Center for Beauty. CJ, yeah, just Google her, okay? CJ's Center for Beauty, okay? She has a ton of pedicure and manicure, everything, resources. She's got autoclaves, everything, okay? And then also you'll have to Google this one, because if you put RAM alone, it's gonna pop up all kinds of stuff. But RAM, RAM nail, and just Google RAM nail products, and you'll see, because they sell dental bits, they sell nail bits for nails, they sell it for dentists, they sell it for, because a lot of the bits that we use are actually dental bits. I mean, the first e-file that I ever saw, my nail technician, who was one of my friends in high school, her mom, she had an e-file that looked like y'all's lamp. Y'all see this lamp? But it had a retractable. It was a dental e-file for doing cavities and cleaning teeth, and that thing cost about $2,000, because we didn't have e-files. Are a fairly new invention, y'all. Like for nails, we haven't always had them. Okay, when I was in school, you were hard pressed to find an e-file to buy anywhere. All right, now we're calling it e-file, and why are we calling it e-file?
Can I confuse it with the regular file?
Which is called a what? I know what you're saying. No, not that.
Oh.
Not a hand file. We're not going to call it a drill from now on. Okay, which
drill.
is kind of confusing, because we call the bits drill bits, right? But if you want to sound professional, don't call it a drill. Every time I hear a professional, someone that I know has been doing nails for like 10, 15, 20 years, and they say my drill, I'd be like, oh, God, don't say that. It's like, I hate hearing it. But I get caught saying it all the time, okay? So I do it sometimes too. So try to call it an electric file or an e-file, all right? They are drill bits. You can say e-file bits if you want to. That's a mouthful. But to sound like a professional, it's an electric file. Just like hairstylists, if you tell them that you want to dye your hair, they're going to go, oh, we don't dye hair. We dye Easter eggs. We color hair, right? Just like we don't paint nails. We paint houses and cars. We polish nails, right? That sounds more professional. I mean, but I'm a teacher. It's just the teacher side of me, okay? But I will look at you like you crazy, like, what'd you just say? So don't feel bad if I do that. All right. So you're going to get this training at workshops, trade shows, with the manufacturer, okay, and the internet. All right. Now don't go on YouTube and believe everything that these people say, because some of them are all the way wrong. All right. Go on YouTube and look for these people I just named. They all have YouTube channels. Go to these professional places. Don't just follow the nearest person and say what they say. Huh? I have an e-file certification course that is in your Thinkific. If you finished it, you got an e-file certification, and I got to print you a certificate. Well, you guys are still going to have access to the Thinkific. That's not going to stop. Okay, we're just transitioning over. Okay, and you're responsible for that work, not necessarily the Thinkific. Okay, all right. So everybody got that? Moving right along. So let's describe some different types of e-files out there. All right. So what are some different types that you've seen? Wireless, cordless, wireless, right? What else? See, you guys are young in this game. Y'all ain't really seen the tabletop ones that sit there and just sit there. Like that one that you got to plug in and you can't move off your table. Right. Or the one, maybe you've seen the ones they sell at Walmart, CVS, the little, they come with a little kit with weird stuff in it, and then you use it one time and it stops working. Everybody's tried the Dollar Tree one when you first start. You're like, oh, they got e-files in here or drills. And then you buy it and it breaks the next day. Okay. Well, in general, we're just going to say there are wireless or cordless ones. Okay. Because this one has a cord, right? Yeah. So, but it's still cordless. Okay. Meaning you can unplug it and use it. But this one does not have any cord at all. It's just a pin, right? Yeah, you charge it, which is more advanced what they're doing now, which I love. I absolutely love. Yes, I love it. Okay. So we'll just say for purposes of state board and in general, we've got cordless and those that are tabletop. Okay. Now, the benefit. What is the benefit of having one that's wireless versus one that you can put on the table?
You have more range.
More range.
Because like with the wire, like, well, I'm not sure if it's the same with nails, but like with tattoos, whenever you have a wire, you're supposed to protect the wire.
Right, you got to put plastic over it. Yeah, you get blood on it or accidentally touch the skin. Right? Why we don't do that with nails?
When I had mine, I did.
I mean, you probably do because you're a tattoo artist, so you probably get. But I'm telling you, tattoo artists, when it comes to their training and stuff and the way they do things, it's almost surgical, right? Yeah. It's like you got to set up things like you're doing surgery. Oh, you haven't met Gio yet. Gio, this is Jasmine. Jasmine is Gio. She does tattoos and piercings, and she does a lot. Anyhow, yeah, tattoos and piercings. Sorry. Oh, and that's JoJo, y'all. JoJo came yesterday, but she's here today too, y'all. She's new. She's a new student, as well. Okay, but she's doing an experiment for me. All right, so we've got our ones that sit on the top. So you've got your benefit of being portable, right? I will always have at least a portable one, right? Because I can take this, throw it in my little fanny pack, and go and do a pedicure. I can keep it in my fanny pack, go over here and do a manicure. I can take it to my house, do nails, and I don't have to worry about anything corded, worrying about making sure it's like, wrapped up, and I forgot the cord. Oh, I don't have the cord. The cord is missing. This you just charge it, right? And then you have your tabletop ones, which are nice, which are great. We've got a couple of them that were donated. We've got that exact one that you see on this screen over there. One of our students donated it, and it works great. Okay. Only thing is you got to plug it up, which some of y'all may want to try it today, just because I tried it and it's actually a decent. Both of them are decent e-files, but they are tabletop. Okay. Now, let's talk about what these parts are of these machines. Okay. So an e-file is has what's known as a micromotor. Okay. Micromotor. Well, I'm going to talk about this in car terms a lot. Okay. So a micromotor, kind of like a motor in your car, is what makes the machine go, okay? And as far as turning, like the motor in your car, yeah, you got wheels on it, but the wheels alone isn't going to make it move, right? You got to have a motor to make the car move. So in this case, we got a motor to make the bit spin, okay? Where is the motor located, ladies? Where do you think?
Bottom? Oh, wait.
Like this part, the bottom, when you say the bottom? Is that
Oh,
what you
wait,
mean?
of the-
Which part?
The wired ones? Oh.
It
Well,
don't-
that one.
This one. The motor's in here?
Oh, wait, no, it's in the actual.
The motor is in the handpiece. Okay, now don't be confused by this because the motor is in here and the motor is, the motor is still in this handpiece. Okay.
Yeah, I thought you meant
Right.
the
Right. So I know what you
Yeah.
were saying. So the motor is in the handpiece, and this is a handpiece. Okay, this is the handpiece, and the same with the ones that sit on the desk. Okay, don't get them confused. Matter of fact, Jasmine, will you bring me that white one so that way I can compare the two for you guys. So the motor is located in the handpiece. So we've got one that doesn't have a box. It's just the handpiece alone. We've got this wireless one that has this box and the handpiece. And again, this one is no different. It just has a cord. This one is a box. We're going to call it a box for a second. And the handpiece. So the motor is located inside of here. So where do you think the cost of an e-file goes to? Where do you think is the most important part? Trust me, it's the motor. So this part of your e-file is the most expensive part. This part can blow away, just blow up, and you can find you another one that looks just like it, that has a piece just like this, and plug this into it. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you buy an e-file that has a motor like this and it stops working, don't throw away your whole e-file. Find you another. This is called, so we've got the hand piece, right? What is this? This is the transformer, okay? The transformer is very easy to replace. It's interchangeable. You can move it from one e-file transformer to another, okay? And so when I went to the nail supply, some of y'all went with us when we went to the nail supply in Atlanta, Trans, right? I was there yesterday, day before yesterday, Thursday, because I went to get my lashes done. So I always make it a dual trip. So I was there and they were selling for this particular e-file, the Medicool, you could buy the handpiece separately from the actual transformer. Guess how much the handpiece was alone? $189 for the handpiece. Now let me just tell you, this is the best. I still have these for a reason, not just because at first they still work, and this was the one I almost chopped that girl's finger off with. I still have it. I mean, we got all the blood on. I'm just kidding, wasn't no blood. But I still have it. It still works. Yes, the battery is shot. I've got to keep it plugged up in order for it to work. But it works. It's still, the motor's still good. It has power behind it and everything. So if I wanted to, now I know, I could just go to this part was only $89. So I could go and just buy a new transformer and keep using this handpiece, which that's not even, so I have two of them because I always recommend that you have a backup, right? So I had two of them. So this one was a different one than this one, and I'll show you the difference in a minute. But this handpiece, let me show you guys the differences in these handpieces. I'm gonna put it up on the screen for you. Don't pay attention to the transformer box yet. But I'm gonna show you guys the differences in these handpieces, and you tell me which one do you think is my favorite.
The one in the middle.
The one on the right there, on the far right.
This one?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And let's look at it from sideways so you can see. Why do you think I like it so much?
It's bedazzled at the bottom.
Well, it's bedazzled,
I'm sorry.
which that part don't really matter, but it's cute though.
I know. It just looked more worn to me, so I feel like you use that the most.
Right. But why do you think? Just from looking at them.
The slimmer.
It's slimmer. It feels like holding a pen or like a highlighter or something. But you want your hand piece to feel comfortable in your hand. And for me, these are beginner. This one is way beginner. This one would be to me like a mid-grade. And then this one is like top of the line. And they get even thinner than this, where it feels like a pen. You want to have total control of this hand piece. And if you guys can, when I'm done teaching, you guys can feel this one. It's heavy, it's weighty, it got a little beef to it. So it sits in your hand nicely without feeling like it's gonna fling out your hand. Not that it probably would, but this has a nice feel to it. It feels expensive. You know, I like things that feel expensive. They ain't gotta look expensive. I mean, I feel expensive, right? All right, so with that being said, you'll ask me, what's the best e-file to buy then, Miss Mary? What do you think I'm gonna tell you? No, I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you that. Nope, that's a beginner e-file. That is just my e-file that I particularly sell and like to have for my students to use. But if you're looking to buy an e-file, what am I going to tell you to go pick one off the internet because it's pink and it got glitter around the rim and all of that stuff? I'm going to tell you to pick the e-file that you can put your hands on and try it, because all of this matters. When you are using an e-file, what happens when you turn it on? What do you feel?
Vibration.
You feel vibrations. And I don't know if this is true in your case, like with tattoos, but if it vibrates a lot, like a lot, is that comfortable in your hand? I would be a little worried that you're doing a tattoo and your pen, or what is that thing called? What is that thing called that you use?
The machine?
Machine, yeah.
Oh, I use a rotary machine.
So, okay, if that rotary machine was like jerking, I'd be a little worried about the way my tattoo's gonna look. So when you buy these and you turn them on, you need to feel, does it vibrate a lot? You want it to not vibrate. If you could get one that don't vibrate at all, that would be amazing. But these cheaper ones like this, okay, this is one that you can buy from Mr. Johnny for $19 or $10, I think. Okay, this is not an e-file, y'all. I don't care what they write on the side. You see, it even says pin drill. We don't use drills, all right? This is an engraving tool. You can buy this on YouTube right now. Look up engraving tool. It's the exact same thing, but it says on the side, engraving tool. Anybody can put a sticker on the side and tell you what it is. Now, the difference between this one and this one, look at the hand piece. It's huge. Now, this is cordless. You can charge this up and use this. It's cordless, but it's huge. And when it vibrates after about 5 minutes of using it, your hand is exhausted. Okay, so you are filing. How much time are you spending filing on just your hands alone? One hand, because you're always one-handed. We all are. Don't feel bad. Nail techs always got a whole different schedule on which hand. One finger's hands on a 2-week schedule, and you do the other hand the other week. Because you didn't do them the same day, right? So how much time do you spend e-filing in general? And you're new, and it's okay. Tell me the truth. Just e-filing, just filing. If you're holding something that's vibrating for a whole hour and a half, you're going to get fatigued, and you're not going to enjoy your job. And carpal tunnel, okay? We have what's called CTD when it comes to e-files, and that's going to make your hand very fatigued. You're going to feel, and you're not going to enjoy doing your job. Okay, so you want to, the things that you're going to spend money on in nails is really a couple of things. You're going to spend a lot of money on your e-file. Okay, now in the beginning, please don't you spend what you got a budget. Don't go out here and buy what you can afford. Don't go and blow your rent on an e-file, because you can do that easily. Okay, buy what you can afford, but please, if you have a choice between, when it comes to price, one that's pink and that somebody on the internet told you to buy versus one that you put your hands on and it might be ugly, but it feels good when you turn it on, please buy the one that feels good to work with, okay? That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you to buy. Don't buy my e-file. First of all, I don't got no more. They're out. I'm run out. I'm out of stock. And I'm going to be out of stock until these tariffs get back together, because I ain't paying 145% for shipping and tariffs, right? Not till they get it together. All right, so what's going to make you buy an e-file? Well, the brand and the budget, okay? Brand does matter when you're talking about quality and warranty type of things, okay? And we'll get to that in a minute. But again, buy what you can afford. Do not, and I repeat, do not buy Craft and Hobby and Lowe's and Home Depot drills. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? If you've ever, Dremel, you almost had it. Dremel drills. If you've ever seen those ones, they put a little pitchfork looking metal pole on their table, and then it hangs from there. It almost looks like this, but bigger. Hanging from then, there's a long cord, and it's got a foot pedal.
Yep.
And it's like driving a car. Those are tools that are used for woodworking.
Yeah.
They used to do that in this.
They sell them in the nail supply. They just don't say Dremel on the side. They say nail drill. Okay? Those, let me tell you why you don't want to use those. First of all, they are way too powerful. Okay? The power, you will talk about, if I would have had that when I cut that girl's finger, I would have cut her finger entirely off. At the speed I was going, off. She wouldn't have had a finger. I would not be here. I'd probably be on OnlyFans trying to make that money back that she sued me. That's all I could come up with. Sorry.
And it still would have came back to
And
make you finish.
period. I still would have never been a nail tech because nobody would have ever trusted me. I cut somebody's finger off. Y'all, that is not, you do not need that type of power. Okay? We are professionals. You will not see if your dentist bust out with a Dremel drill, what would you say?
Say, nah,
Like, come on now.
come back.
Now, you are a professional. Clients don't know, and I don't expect them to know, except for the ones that are on this live that are watching. Okay, now they know. But if you see that in a nail salon, you know they ain't had no proper training, because that is not okay. All right, too powerful, way too powerful. Those are meant for drilling holes in the wall, carving wood and metal and all that kind of stuff. Your nails are way too sensitive for that. Okay, so don't do it. And you'll see them in the nail supply. Don't do it. Okay, now let's move right along. What is RPMs? Revolutions per minute. So what does that mean? Revolutions per minute.
How many times it goes around?
Not how fast it's going.
How many times?
How many times, which is technically the speed, like what, for instance, it's not, it is how fast you're going, but how many times it's turning in a minute. Okay, so if it's turning at a high speed, then it is the speed technically. Okay, but what I mean by revolutions is how many times that e-file bit is spinning in a minute. So on an e-file, you will see a number. Okay, I'm going to put this on the screen. On an e-file, and this is going to be an e-file that has this particular feature. On an e-file, when you turn it on, you'll see on this one, it's at 0. So what does that mean? It's paused. It's not doing anything. It's stopped. But if I go to 1, how many times is this e-file spinning in a minute?
1,000.
That's the key. The speed is 1 because we can't fit 1,000 on this LCD screen. But the speed is, or the times that it's spinning, is 1,000 times per minute. So let me ask you something. How many times can you hand file with a hand file like this in a minute? Can you go 1,000 times in a minute? Absolutely not. If you can, I want to see you do it, and I want you to do it live on the internet so we can see it, so we can laugh at you. We want to laugh. We see everything shaking. All right. So this e-file is spinning, and that's the lowest speed. All right, 1K. Now, if I turn it up to, let's say 5K, now we're going how many times per minute? 5,000. Now, an e-file in general, I've seen them go up to 40 only because Leslie had one. That's the only one I've seen. But that's the one that you kind of got rid of, yeah?
Yeah,
It died on. It's not, yeah, it died on. So, in general, they'll go from 20 to 35K. 35K is if you're going to 35K in speed, what are you doing? What do you need it to go that fast for? But why do they go that fast? Why do they have one that goes 35K? Why? If you're never really going to go that fast. Well, let me answer that for you. I mean, you never needed to go 35K. But I can also ask you, why does your speedometer say it goes up to 200 miles an hour? Are you ever gonna go that fast? Can you? Some of y'all cars can't even go that fast, even if you try, right? So let's think of it this way. So it's the number of times that it goes per minute. So there's something else. We're going to work in that middle range, around that middle range when it comes to our e-files. Let me put this back on the screen so you guys can see. We're going to work somewhere in that middle range, just like when you drive your car. Yeah, my car might say that it goes 180 miles an hour, but I have never pushed it that hard. Shayla says she have, but I've never pushed it that hard. Leslie have, coming down from Atlanta trying to get to class on time. But I've never went that fast. I usually try to stay, because I'm a safe driver, somewhere in the middle, like 60, 70. I might hit 80, but my car tells me when I hit 80, slow down, girl. You're going too fast. So Jasmine here drives a Mustang. A real nice one, too. That car has a lot of power behind it, right? What that means is it's got torque. Okay, the word I'm looking for is torque. So her car will go from 0 to 100 in like 5 seconds. Just boom, and I guarantee you it has so much power, meaning horsepower, that she can do it going up a hill. Now, if you drive a put, you know that little red car that's on the emojis on the iPhone. What is that? Geo Metro? I feel like it's a Geo Yacht. I'm telling my age now. I don't even make those no more. The Geo Metros. You only fit 2.5 people in them. They only went 60 miles an hour. You guarantee can't get to 60 in about 20 seconds, because you don't have that 500 horsepower engine like Jasmine does, and I guarantee you it ain't even gonna make it up the hill going 60. You can't even start at the bottom and get up to the hill without probably going 20 miles an hour. Okay, so what does that car not have that the Mustang does have? Torque. Okay, so torque is power. So yes, the Geo Metro can get up to 60. But we want our e-files to have power. We want them to have power so that if we need it, it won't die on us like that little Geo Metro is going to do when we get halfway up that hill. It's going to be like, no, I give up. And you all have had this happen with your e-files before. You turn it up, you start e-filing on the nail and it stops. You got it on maybe 5 or 10. And you're filing on an acrylic nail that's really, really hard. Maybe it's some MMA or something that your client came in with. And you like, okay, well, I'm going to turn it back on, I'm going to turn it up, crank it up. And then you filing again and it just stops again. And you're like, oh my God. That's because your e-file don't have no torque in it. It's a Geo Metro e-file. Okay? Now, I'm not telling you to go out and buy a Mustang. But if you want to look good on the road and you want to be able to get from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, you're going to get one, right? So you see where I'm getting with this? Your e-file power, the torque behind it, is very important. So we say high torque equals more power at a lower speed. So even when she turns her car on, you can hear the power of that car, can't you? It purrs like a little kitten, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know. It's a little older now. It still purrs, don't it? It make a little sound. It's, you can tell, you know. When I was riding my bike yesterday, not my daddy, Lord. My trainer was like, "Give us some gas. Let's hear it. Round. Right? You want to be able to hear it. You know that it's got power behind it. Okay? So that car can pull let's just say it has the power to pull a trailer and not blow the motor. A Geo Metro ain't barely pulling your big ass without blowing the motor. Them tiny little poop. You get in there and it's like, oh. You ever seen what they call a big man, little car, and it's just going down the road. We're going to use the Fiats. Y'all know them little Fiats? You always see a big person in a Fiat. It never fails, right? And you're just wondering, how is that car going? It's barely going, right? I don't know. Fiats might have a little power behind them. So, lower torque means if it's a low, if it doesn't have a lot of power, that means you're going to get less power, but you're going to have to crank up the speed. And if you do that continuously, what's going to happen to the motor? It's going to blow up. All right? So this is one of the features that you're going to want to look at when you buy an e-file. When you put money into one, make sure that it has these things like high torque, powerful. And so if your e-file only goes to 20K, that means it's more on the mid-car range. Meaning it's like maybe like a Toyota Camry. Okay, or no shade to anybody who drives a Toyota Camry, but you know they call those mid-sized cars, right? So, you want a Mustang, you want a Fiat, or do you want a Toyota Camry? Well, most of us drive Toyota Camrys, okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just know that you're not going to be able to probably do a cut down. Y'all ever did a cut down? You're like, you need power. You need power in your e-file or it's just going to stop. It's just going to boop and you're like, damn, turn it all the way up to 35 and it's still stopping on you. Then you know it's maybe time for you to upgrade to something a little more powerful. Got that? Okay. So, moving right along, let's talk about some of the other features that you need in an e-file. All right? What are some other features you guys can think of? Warranty's a good one. Very much so. What else? Maintenance, warranty and maintenance, yes. Safety features like?
They have like a lock.
The lock feature, yes, to be able to make sure that that when you lock it, it's unlocked, it won't turn on because that bit will go flying. Mm-hmm. If it's unlocked and it turns on and that bit's not locked in there. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have some of these features. So let's talk about them. Number one, when choosing an e-file, like I said, we're going to look at our wants, needs, and our budgets. So when we talk about wants, I know, like Arumi wants an e-file that's got diamonds all over it, like her to match her LED lamp right here, don't she? But she may not be able to afford one that has all them diamonds on it, right? Or maybe her needs are more important. She needs one that's stronger because she does a lot of removals because she got all these people coming to Statesboro to see her and they got somebody else's nails on, they got MMA on it and she's got to have a strong e-file. So she's got, what kind of e-file she got right there? What is that? She got headphones on. She don't even hear me talking about it. We just been talking about you. You don't even hear us. But I'm asking her what kind of e-file you got there.
Oh, the Melody Susie.
And what is it? 35K? 30? Do you know?
I think it is 35.
35K. Does it work pretty good for you? You got a lot of strength in it. You can do your cut downs, no problems and stuff. 30K. Okay. 30K is good, right? So you're gonna evaluate what's more important to you. In the beginning, when you first start, you may not be able to afford nothing but this because, you know, we got this for like $28, $30 on Amazon. Works great. But when it comes down to cut downs, not so much. You get up to 25, 30, you're like, I can't do it. So you may want to get you a mid-grade. All right. So now let's talk about forward and reverse. That feature is very important. Why would you need forward or reverse? Left-handed people. We got some lefties in here. Any? No lefties? We got lefties in here? No left. Okay, we got a lefty. I think we got some lefties on Friday class. Why else would you need forward and reverse?
Depending on the angle.
Some of you like to do, when you're doing your prep, you do your cuticle removing off of the nail plate, you going forward, and then so let's just say you're going forward and you're going across that nail and that cuticle just won't turn loose. So you put it in reverse and then you go the opposite direction and boop, there it goes, gone. Right? Because when we're washing stuff, do you just wash your hair like this? In one, because you don't want to fluff it, and you know, some of us curly head people, that's how we wash our hair like this. We don't want to we don't want it to get all tangled, right? But in general, when you're cleaning something, you're going like this, right? You want to scrub it, right? So you may use your e-file, taking it forward, remove cuticle off the nail plate with your diamond bit. We'll get to those bits in a minute, right? And then you may put it in reverse to kind of take off get it off the other way, right? That's one reason why you may want it. But what about when you're doing your own nails? I don't know about y'all, but the way your brain's supposed to work, mine sometimes works, sometimes it don't. But it mirrors itself. So when you go this way with your left hand, when you go to do your right hand, something makes you want to go this way, which is the opposite direction, and your e-file's turning this way. So you're going to want to put it in reverse so that it feels natural, right? But some of y'all are dual brained and ambidextrous, and you're able to do it either way, right? But having that feature is very helpful, trust me, okay? So with that being said, what about the chuck? You're going to want to look for, what is the chuck? The twist lock, yes. So in this case, let's look at this overhead. In this case, here is the chuck. Okay, this is the chuck, this part. What does that resemble when you look at it? Focus now. What does that look like? Let's think about a drill, like a drill that you buy at Lowe's. This is a little different than the drill you buy at Lowe's, because the drill you buy at Lowe's, you can just spin. It'll take a bit that's this big around, like one that you put holes in the wall with. So look at this this drill. So it has a chuck too, but remember I told y'all this is not for nails. This one, you've got to hold this little button until it holds in, right? There's like a little hole in it to keep it from spinning. So then you twist this, and this will open it all the way up, and it will fit just about any bit that you put in it, which lets you know it's not a nail bit, right? Nail file. So let me just take this off all the way so you can see. So see the chuck here? I know it's not focusing real good, but you can see the chuck there is much bigger, and it will accommodate a much larger bit than what you use for nails, okay? So this does not have the safety feature that this one has. This one, if I turn this on right now, let me just do it. If I turn this on right now, it turns on. And I can have a bit in there, I turn it on, it's gonna fling across the room. Whereas this one, there's a locking mechanism here. You see this? Let me find it first. See the little lock, unlock? So when you twist, which you twist here, ladies, don't twist down here, don't twist up here, you're gonna open it up and it's gonna fall apart, okay? We're twisting here, okay? This locks, you notice it opens up like a flower, and then you unlock it, and it's like open like a flower, lock it, and it closes it all the way. When I have this open and turn this on, you notice no sound, it's on. It's not gonna turn if you have not locked it, which is a safety mechanism, okay? It also will only hold bits that are the size meant for an e-file, okay? And there are certain size bits that you're gonna have to buy. So when you go on Amazon and start buying bits, which you will do, I'll tell you the size in a minute because I don't want to confuse you. But everybody understand where you don't want to find one. Don't use one that looks like this.
Here it says some handheld machines require a pen or key.
Exactly. That's the pen.
And
That's the pen, right? In this one. Because that locks it. Without that, if I don't hold that, it's just going to turn, and it's not going to get tight. And when I hold it, it's locking the inside mechanism so that this will twist tight around the bit, okay? Don't buy one like that. Even if you find an e-file, don't buy one like that. Get one that has a regular twist lock mechanism like this, yes.
I have a question. One of the ones I have doesn't have like a lock on it, like you just push in. That's just those. They're okay, but when it starts getting to the point where you don't push it in, pulled it out, pushed it in so many times, now when you push it in, it's loose. Right. That's gonna be an issue, and that will happen over time. Right. So it's really just, you want to buy your e-file once. Right. You don't want to buy
this is a $389 e-file. I have 2 of them, okay, because you always need a backup. But I just upgraded because this one I'll tell you about in a minute. But this one was a 20K. This one was a 30K. This one has no LCD screen to tell me how fast it's going. This one does. This one, they both have the flip forward and reverse button.
It's the same brand.
Same brand. They just, one was the upgrade. One was 20K to 30K. All right. So this one's more powerful, higher RPMs. This one does this just as good, but it's just not as powerful. But I also don't know how fast it's going because it's just got minimum, maximum, and I just got to feel it. It's got to just know you're going too fast or know you're going too slow. So that's the features in it that you are going to want to look for. Plus, the handpiece is much nicer in the 30K. I like this handpiece. I can interchange these two. Totally different handpiece plugins for the hand. Cannot. If you look at this one versus this one, I can't interchange these. You see, one is totally different. One is a pinhole thing, and then this one is way different. But I could put this if this one goes bad. Just so y'all know, this Medicool is the same exact e-file as Valentino's. They just changed the look at it. Look at the look at how it looks. Okay? Not no shade on them because that's how manufacturers do. We buy everything from the China and then you say I want a white box and I want you to write Valentino on it and charge you $300 more for it because it says Valentino and it's white. Some of y'all buy Gucci, some of y'all buy Coochie. I mean, I do a little bit of both. It just depends on the price and whose trunk I'm buying it out of. Okay, let me just be real. Okay, right. So, moving right along, the next thing you want to look at, the last thing that's on here, is the foot pedal. The foot pedal. Now, when do we have a foot pedal? When are we going to have a foot pedal? Sorry, wrong side. When are we going to have a foot pedal? We're not going to have a foot pedal here. We're not going to have a foot pedal on a cordless machine. But we are going to have, in some cases, the feature of the availability of a foot pedal on a tabletop. Okay, a tabletop. And I will tell you this. I love a foot pedal. It is so convenient because think about it. It's either on or off, right? There's 2 types of foot pedals. You got on or off, and then you have foot pedals that are like a car. Give it the gas. So it keeps you from having to A, turn your e-file on and off, B, having to stop and turn the speed up when you're working around doing a cut down, and then you're like, oh, I need to work on the cuticle. Let me turn it down real quick. I usually keep mine on my hip. Oh, let me turn it down a little bit because I'm on it. I turn it up a little bit. Now I got to turn it down. When you got the powerfulness or the feature of the foot pedal, you can do you can be doing a cut down and be like, oh yeah, now I need to slow down, do around the cuticle, and then I'm gonna speed it up and I'm gonna smooth it out, and then I'm gonna do it's so nice. However, it's a tabletop, so you're limited to where you can take it and things of that nature. So have a tabletop for your home studio or wherever you're not moving around your table, and then have a portable one so that you can go do a pedicure and throw it in your bag and keep moving, right?
And that one's, well, they don't show you how fast you're going, right?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the brand you buy. Some of them, while you're hitting the button, hitting the pedal, it'll say, it might have an LCD screen. That's a feature you'll want to look for. Guarantee you it'll be more expensive if it does. Right. But when you've done this for a while, it's just like driving. Like, you're going too fast, right? When you're going too fast. Right. You don't have to look down at your speedometer when you're zipping through town and you through a stoplight. Right. You know your ass is going too fast, right? So you get to a speed, you get used to it, right? But I highly recommend getting one that does show how fast you're going. But I couldn't tell you one off the bat that does it. But when you get one with a foot pedal, Medicool has one with a foot pedal. I prefer the ones that are like gas pedals. But some of them are just on off, on off.
It probably takes a lot of time off of
every little feature that you can add to something is going to help with time.
Like you said, instead of doing
stopping, twisting, you may even have to
those
reach.
couple seconds you put
Just
it
that
in.
little couple of seconds. It might matter.
Right.
It might not. What pick your poison. What do you want to worry about? You know what I mean? And what are you willing to spend money on?
Right.
For instance, I told y'all I bought a bike, right? Well, the bike was $10,000. Well, I walked out the door paying $16,000. Why? Because I bought the warranty, an extra 3-year warranty. I probably wouldn't have had that bike 3 years before I upgrade. But if I lay that bike down, guess what? New bike. If someone steals it, guess what? Which is very likely. New bike and $1,000 towards a new one. Gap insurance. If our total loss wreck it tomorrow, I still owe 16 grand. Guess what? They're paying for it. I ain't got to worry about another one. VIP maintenance. I ain't got to pay for an oil change, a tire change. If I get a hole in the for the next 5 years, is that worth it to me? Y'all know how much it costs to change a motorcycle tire? Well, I didn't know until the day before yesterday. It's only 2 of them.
That's why it's so high.
Let's put it like this. 1 tire is the cost of 2. Okay? And a nail in a tire is very common with a motorcycle because you just whoop, whoop, whoop everywhere and you just boop. You go where the nails are most of the time. Okay? Oil changes, $300. Hell, the labor just for them to change your oil is $120 an hour. Okay? So that was worth it to me. Plus, the warranty, if I choose to upgrade that bike or buy another one, it follows me to the new bike. So it's worth it. Yeah, it's another $6 grand. But you know what? So it's gonna cost me 10 grand if I wreck that bike tomorrow and I ain't gonna have no bike. And I'm gonna have to keep paying for it. So is it worth it? Yes. Warranty is very much worth it, which brings me to our next slide here. Because we've already talked about RPMs. We've already talked about variable speed control, right? We want it to be able to, we don't want it to do this. I don't know how fast this is going. It's just on, off, on, off. This could be going 40 miles an hour, 40 RPMs for all I know. I don't know. Comfortable handpiece, we talked about that. And then also the closed casing feature, we talked about that. But this one is probably the most important. Warranty and maintenance. You spend $100 on an e-file, ain't no maintenance, ain't no warranty 9 times out of 10. I think Melody Susie might allow you to send it back to them and they'll give you another one after a certain amount of time. But at 5 years, nah, forget about it. No, not for $100. But if you buy a Koopa machine, that's easily can be a nearly $600 machine with taxes, right? Koopa, some of the greatest e-files out there. You can even change the color. You can change them red, green, blue. You can buy all these different covers for it, all kinds of stuff. But they come with warranties, and maintenance. And what that means is not only if your e-file breaks within a certain amount of time, they'll give you another one, but maintenance. You need to maintain these e-files. They don't just last forever, y'all. I know you guys probably have never opened up your handpiece and looked at it. But I do it all the time because, you know, this closed casing part right here, let me show you on the screen. This part right here, guess what gets in there? Dust. And what happens if you don't change your lint in your wash dryer for like a month? It gets clogged. It might even catch a fire. Right? Because I'm notorious for it. I wait 3, 4, 5 times of drying before I got a whole pillow. I could fill a pillowcase with the lint that's in my dryer. That might be a good idea. I bet that'd be a soft pillow. Smell good too. Anyhow, you got to open this up. I don't recommend you do it. If you do, make sure you're videoing so you can see when everything falls off, where it goes when you put it back together. Some springs in here, some screws in here, some little twisted nuts and stuff like that in here. You got to make sure you know where these things go back, okay? It's not that difficult, but if you just pop it open and everything flies everywhere, good luck. Find a YouTube video. I don't know what to tell you. But some of these companies will tell you, send it in, we'll maintenance it, we'll send it back to you. Highly recommend you do that when you're going on vacation or if you got an additional e-file as a backup. Okay? Maintenance is very important. And when you spend, because there are e-files out there that are way more than $500. especially the ones that are like the ones that have the suction that suck up the dust all at the same time. Erica has one. I want to say it's $1,000. That thing is badass. It has a little suction tube that's right here next to it. Just sucks every bit of dust. Way better than have one of those dust machines. Yeah. Sucks it right on in there into a little voucher. No, yeah, nothing on your table, but I'm sure it's close to $1,000, if not more. She usually has it at the show. She buys this big piece of chalk and she lets you test it out, and you're shaving on this chalk and it's sucking up in there. It's cool to watch, right? Because chalk is really close to like nail dust, even worse than nail dust. So you can get really expensive e-files. Okay, guarantee you that one comes with a warranty. Oops, wrong one. I keep putting it on the wrong one. All right, so let's talk about the fun part. Bits. What do y'all know about them? You know anything about them? You just buying a lot of times all we really know is the sanding bands, right? Because that's what we see everybody use for everything. Nobody really pulls out much of anything different. Okay, so let's talk about the different ones. First and foremost, they come in a variety of shapes, sizes, styles, colors, all kinds of stuff. Okay, but they also they come in all those different shapes, but I want you guys to keep in mind that the quality of these bits are very different. Just because you buy a carbide bit on Amazon is not going to be the exact same carbide bit that you buy from, say, Atwood Industries for $40, okay? Because they've got bits on their website that are literally $49.99, and they are high quality metals, carbides that will last you a very long time. But keep in mind, they don't last forever. When I first started, I'm buying these bits and I'm like, why is it dull? It's been a year I've had it. It's dulling already. Baby, they're not supposed to last forever. Okay? They will, even a bit that you use to drill holes in the walls will get dull on you, especially if you're using it on concrete and metal and stuff like that. They don't last forever. And don't do that. Don't do that. You don't want that to happen, because you'll get what's known as wobbly bits or bent bits. They are metal. Remember, they will bend. Okay, so let me show you an example of a wobbly bit. Once they get bent, you cannot save them. Please don't try to unbend them. Please don't try to take a wrench and a vise or anything and try to straighten them out. It ain't gonna work. Okay, so here's an yeah, you'll probably break it at the end of the day. Just try not to drop them. And how do we get a bent bit? A bent bit. How does that happen? Especially with these that have a cord, you drop the hand piece and it lands right on the floor, and then you end up with the bit. That's what happened. The bungee, yep, that's what them bungee cords. Now, so this is what happens when you're bent, when you bend a bit. Ooh, I'm trying to turn it. What am I doing? Let me turn it on first. Duh. Okay, so we got it on here. Can you see what it's doing? You do not want that happening on your client's fingernail. You're just spanking it. Spank, 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 spank. It's going to boop, 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 and you'll know it's bent. Okay, so you want your bits to be straight and concentric. We'll get to that in a second. That's on my next slide, all right? But that's what happens with a wobbly bit. We don't want wobbly bits. We don't want bits that are damaged. So you're also going to want to, when you buy bits, don't buy one single bit, okay, of that particular, like if I have one of these, if I buy one, that means I need to buy 2 or 3, because unless you are cleaning in between every single client, all your instruments and all your metal pieces, you're being dirty. You don't want to use this on another client unless it's been disinfected. You need to disinfect bits too. So buy a couple of bits. Have you a box that says clean bits and a box that says dirty bits. My dirty bits is somewhere. But the clean ones, after you sanitize them, put them in here. When they're dirty, put them in the dirty one. And you need to have several of the same bits. Okay? It gets expensive. But if you have 3, they're in a constant rotation. You'll have them a lot longer. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're buying bits, or you're gonna have to clean them more often. Yes.
Is that pink thing like a dust
I was
cover?
glad you asked that. So this has several different uses. Number one, it's gonna prevent dust from going down into your machine. Very good to have. Number two, it can identify your bits. For instance, like I just said, you have 3, right? You could say, okay, this client, I'm using all the pink ones, and the pink ones are going into the dirty bits. And then the next client, I'm gonna use all the yellow ones, and then once they're all the yellow ones go in there, whatever, right? It'll also, you can also use it to identify whether it's coarse, fine, or, because a lot of these don't come with any identification on it. But when you buy it, you knew it was coarse because it came in a little container that said coarse. But how do I know it's coarse? Just by looking at it. Sometimes you can tell, sometimes you can't.
What's that called?
What are these little things called? Just when you go on Atwood Industries and also on Erica's ATA, just look for e-file dust covers. I can't remember. They have a name. I can't remember. They sell them in packs of like 50 for like $10 or $5 with different cup. You put it up. You put it on before right here. It always stays on the bit. It's plastic silicone, so you can sanitize it, disinfect it. You can't put it in the autoclave though. You want to take this off so it don't melt. Okay. Look, Tanya said, I'm a welder. I can fix it. We're going to buy us another bit. That's what we're going to do. We ain't taking it to the welding shop. But if you're one of our clients, we'll hand it over to you. Bring it back next week. All right? So that's a wobbly bit or a bent bit, okay? Now, moving right along. Let's talk about the anatomy of a bit. All right? No matter what kind of bit you're using, whether it's a round bit, a cone bit, a saucer bit, what concentric just means is that it's equal on all sides, okay? So for instance, I've got a bit here. That although it used to be concentric on all sides, it is no longer. What do you think happened to this bit here? It's very worn. This bit, and this is what I want to tell you guys, when you start buying these bits, do not use them to chip away, remove stones, rocks, crystals, whatever you're using, not your good bits. Take one of your old ones, like this one, I still use it. You know what I use it for? The same thing that I damaged it with. Removing stones off of nails. Because sometimes you can't clamp them off. Like, sometimes they're really on there. And in order to get it off, you're like, all right, I'm going to have to use a drill bit to kind of chip this thing. Also, make sure if you're doing that, you got eye protection. Eye protection is very important. We have some goggles over there for everybody. Anybody who's using the e-file right now without them, they're using them at their own risk. If you get something in your eye, there is some goggles over there. Just saying. Okay? Now, or some eye protection. Now, these this right here is a damaged bit. And how do I know it's damaged? Thank you, Michelle. They're called dust guards. Dust guards. See, the chat is my co-host. They make sure I'm on point here. Dust guards. And this is one too. This is an example of one right here. Okay. Now, I told you how it got damaged, but how can you tell it's damaged? And why would you not want to use this to smooth down a nail or take down the bulk on a nail? Why?
Because the pattern isn't consistent.
It's not concentric, the word that we just used.
Concentric.
Consistent, but as far as the word I just used, it's not concentric on all sides because obviously I've worn it down in the middle, right? And the edges on the tops and the sides on the bottom are sticking out further. So I'm not going to get a smooth surface when I use it, okay? So use this bit for either teaching purposes, what not to do, or to remove stones and so that you don't damage your good bits. And that's a good reason to have one of these guards on it so that you know that's my bad one. I'll use that one, not my good ones that I just bought, okay? Because you may have several of the same color bit, okay? Another example of a damaged bit. Can y'all see this one where it's damaged? You see the teeth? And we're going to call it teeth for the time being. You see where right there where some of the teeth are kind of, they look like they need braces a little. Need some Invisalign over here. but the rest of them are good. But then you get right there, boom, you got a couple that are, same thing happened to this bit. Okay, using it on metal pieces, things of that nature, and it got chunked. Okay, now here's one that is literally brand new. Came in the box this way. Okay, I want to show you guys. Maybe this is it. I think it's it. I feel it because I didn't notice it until I felt it. Here it goes. This one came in the box this way, and I was a little annoyed. There you go. Will you see that? Sticking out? This is a diamond bit. And look how it's got a big chunk of something there sticking out.
Some standard bits come like that too.
Sometimes they do. They're a lot easier to fix. You can run that over a file and kind of knock that little grit off of there. But in this case, this is a metal bit. You would not use this on a client's natural nail, even though I'm going to tell you in a second that diamond bits are the best to use on natural nails, okay? If you're going to use a bit at all right? This you would not want to use, and this is damaged. So that was a waste of money, and now I just use it for teaching purposes, okay? Now, so we're looking for concentric bits that are even all the way around. We want surface smoothness. So the one I just showed you, the smoothness on it was awful, was damaged. Our edges, what are we talking about with edges? This part of it right here, this part right here is the edge of the bit. If that's damaged or something's sticking out, it will cut your client. Now, I'm going to just tell y'all this right there. There's no reason for any of y'all to be using bits that are shaped like this. This is dangerous. None of you are really at the point where you are skilled with an e-file to be using bits like this. Why do I say that? They're so sharp. So sharp. And that's how I cut that girl. Cut her. Okay? You want to use safety bits. We'll talk about that in a second. But getting back to the presentation here, the grit is important. So you got coarse, medium, fine, super fine, medium, extra super coarse, extra 3x, 5, 6, 7 coarse. Now they make them where they're so coarse they look like they literally drill bits that you would drill into a wall. Okay? Let me see. Where's my good wall drill bit? I got one over here. Okay, to show you guys. They come super, super duper coarse, and you guys got to be careful. There's no reason for you to ever have one of these. No reason at all. Okay? If you can't get it done with maybe an X coarse bit, then you need to upgrade your E-file. This is too coarse. This right here will chop a finger off. Okay? And literally shred the skin if you slip. Okay? No need for you to have that. Okay? All right. So, the last thing on this slide that I'm going to talk about is the shank, and this is very important. Okay? Not the shank you have in the prison. Okay? We're not killing no metal shanks. This is the shank, the bar that connects directly to the e-file. This is the shank. And the shank size is very important. Do not buy a bit that is anything other than 3/32, meaning 3/32 of an inch. If you buy anything bigger, meaning you will find them online for they'll say 1/4 of an inch or 1/40 of an inch. Anything else other than 3/32 of an inch is too big or it's too small. Okay, we want our e-file to be able to what's the word I'm looking for? The chuck to be able to tighten up around it. If it's too small, it won't fit. It will just fly out of it. If it's too big, it won't wrap around it. So 3/32 of an inch. And when you go on some of these websites, they will have bits that are bigger because maybe they're using an e-file that does have that pin mechanism. Okay, you don't want to buy those anyway. Stay away from them. Get the ones that are 3/32 of an inch. Everybody got that? All right, because y'all gonna start buying stuff soon. I already know. All right, so let's talk about these different types of bits. We got diamond bits. What are diamond bits? Absolutely. So it could be made of natural diamond or synthetic diamond. Now, I don't, when they say natural, I hope they ain't talking about real diamonds, but you know, diamond shards or pieces are not as valuable as a big diamond. Nobody's taking a nice, big, beautiful engagement ring diamond, cutting it down and turning it into a bit. Okay, so we're talking natural or synthetic particles. Okay, now this is very important. They can be used in both directions, meaning forward and reverse. And why is that, ladies? Why can it be used in forward and reverse?
Because the pattern. So like
There's like no there's no pattern on it, really, right? There's just the diamonds, particles that are on the bit. So these are all examples of diamond bits. Okay, so it's not doing a cutting action. It's not cutting. It's more grinding. All right. Buffing, smoothing. Okay. So that's why these bits can be used at a very, very fine or medium grit on the natural nail because it's not cutting. Okay. So just keep in mind, diamond bits have more of a smoothing or grinding type of action, and they can be used in forward and reverse. This is important for you left-hand people to know, if there are any. Or even when you're going in reverse with a carbide bit. There are some carbide bits that cannot go in reverse because the way their directional pattern, and that's going to be on my next slide here, okay? So the most common grit with these diamond bits is going to be medium. And I recommend you have some fine ones for when you're getting around the cuticle area. If you want to, because my absolute favorite bits, I'm going to show you guys. Because I tend to only use diamond bits. I don't really use, oh, that's me. Sorry. I don't really use sanding bands like that. But these two right here are my favorite bits. Look how tiny that cuticle, that tip of it is. This, if you go on either Atwood Industries or Erica's ATA, this is called a skiver or skiver bit. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's SCIVER. This bit is so good for getting right here at the cuticle area, in those little tight spots, in the corners, cleaning up around, getting all that skin off the nail plate, and it is not going to leave. Now, if you file anything over and over and over and over again, it's going to leave a mark in the nail. But if you're gentle with it, you can use this on the natural nail and get into those really tight spaces, especially when you're doing a fill-in. Like, say, for instance, I wanted to do a fill-in. Let's say this was acrylic on my nails. I would go in with this bit, and I would obviously remove the shine, but I'm going to push this cuticle back while also simultaneously removing it off the nail plate. Okay, there are tricks to the trade. Now you can go in and push the cuticle back if you want to, and then go, but that's an extra step, and then you got to go back and then clean off the nail plate. With a bit like this,
So will we be doing that today? Because I've always been confused of how, because I know we're not supposed to cut it, but whenever I push the cuticle back and how it lifts up, and I'll try to use the bits to like smooth it down, and it'll just still be like.
what you should be doing is treating that after the fact. When you sit down and you look at your client and you push this back, right? And you see all that crust right there, right? Well, first of all, that's cuticle.
Yeah,
and when you clean nail, a lot of that white is gonna go away, right? You're gonna use the E-file to clean it off of the nail plate, which is gonna make a lot of that go away. But then you've got you're talking about that ledge of skin right there.
Right,
if that ledge of skin is there, then that means you need to be prescribing, and I don't mean in the doctor way, some cuticle oil treatments every day for your client. So when they come back, that's not a problem. Don't cut it, because you're only going to make it worse for the next time you come, and you're opening up that client to the bacteria and infections, and you're not allowed to do it anyway. So if you do it, you're taking a chance.
Yeah, no, I don't cut it at all.
If you, a lot of people do it to themselves because it's your own body, you take your own. But when you're talking about other client, it's your risk to yourself. But I don't do it I may cut it on myself if I don't have. As you can see, my skin is very, very tender and very, very. You couldn't do it to me, I'd bleed. And someone else might bleed too. Don't do it. Don't risk it. Just don't risk it. But start doing that cuticle treatment. Listen, I keep a little, and I even bought some, so that we could have some here. But get you a little bottle like this, okay? I bought some for us to have here, and I took one right out of that bag that I bought. This little right here, okay? Put you some olive oil. Yes, the olive oil that you cook with. I got it right by my bedside. You know what I do with it? I slather it all over my body after I get out the shower, on my feet, on my toes, on between my toes, on my lips, on my face. That's all I got on my face right now is olive oil. That's it. Y'all want to know how Miss Mary looks 35 and she's 44? Olive oil. I've been doing it for years. And I put it all over my cuticles, all over my toe. I don't have these problems. The reason why your clients have these problems is because they're keeping their hands in dishwater, and people wash dishes. I wash dishes, not really. I'm one of those people that just spray it off with the sprayer and then put it in the dishwasher and hope for the best so that I don't have to do it again, because it's going right back in there. Go right back in there. Only thing I wash is my cast iron pots. Some things way too expensive. But anyway, because you can't put them in the washer. But put it in there. Promise you, you do this for 2 weeks, you ain't gonna have that problem when you come back. And if they come back with them dry, you know they didn't do it. And you should be selling it to them. Put some cuticle oil in here and drop some essential oil smell in there and sell it to them for $10. Say it's your special miracle drops. That's what everybody else does. Okay? So, someone said make sure it's organic. If you're that type of person. What is organic? Everything is organic. That's a scam and a scheme and a scam. So they can charge you extra for the onions, then on this side, then the other side. Everything grew out the ground. At the end of the day, everything we eat is poisonous over here in the U.S. of A. Everything. Let's not go there. I can have a whole nother live about that. All right, so now carbide bits, because someone mentioned it on my live here. Carbide bits. What are they? What is carbide? Y'all remember the periodic table of elements from high school?
They made of metal.
It's one of those letters on that big table, right? Carbide. I know it's on there, but it's a metal. It's a metal, okay? And they come in different colors because they coat it in either gold or rainbow or blue or all kinds of, but they're usually a silver color, right? So what those lines are, because we talked about those lines, right? Those lines are called flutes. And the bigger the lines, the further away the lines are from each other will determine how fine or how coarse it is, and also how much dust it gives off. Okay? So a coarse bit that is carbide with all those flutes on it is going to have big chunks. It's not going to have little tiny dust particles compared to one that is more fine. All right? So when you're talking about carbide bits that can be used in both directions, because remember I said some of them cannot be used in both directions. Okay? This one cannot be used in both directions. How do you know that? Because it looks like a candy cane. If it looks like a candy cane, meaning the flutes are just going in one direction, then that means that this one cannot go in whatever, because they do sell left-handed and right-handed bits. They do sell them, okay? If you're left-handed, but why buy them when you can buy cross-cut bits that have both directions of the flutes? Okay, so why would you buy a left-handed bit when you can just buy one that is both? Okay, just doesn't make sense. So, buy bits that look like this, that are both directions, cross-cut, crossing each other, okay? Now, what is a Swiss carbide bit? Because you'll hear that. They're going to try to tell you it's more expensive. A Swiss carbide bit, well, first they say it was made in Switzerland, but we now know, because of TikTok and the tariffs, we now know that everything is made in China. I've been telling y'all this forever. Did y'all see the TikTok about the Birkin bags? Oh, them Chinese people mad. They said, oh, y'all want to tariff us? We're going to tell you that y'all $40,000 Birkin bags that y'all waiting in line for, we make them in mass over here in China for $1,000, and we'll send you one right now with $145 tariff, 45% tariff. And all they do, those Birkin bags, they buy them from China. They got people working in slave labor, making them for, they are worth about $1,000. But then they're shipping them over to Italy so they can put stamp made in Italy, and then they sell it to you for $40,000. What idiots are we? So y'all stop feeling bad for shopping at Dollar Tree. I don't. Stop feeling bad for wearing your fake, stuff. Because it's, I got my Louis Vuitton on today. Probably is a Louis Vuitton, guarantee you. Made in the same factory right next to the $700 ones. All right. Listen. If someone said it's not fake, it's frugal. I hear that. Clap for that. All right. So what is a Swiss carbide bit? Well, it's made in China, but they're going to tell you it's made in Switzerland. And it has a rounded top. It's another name for a safety bit, which is what you all should be using. This is a safety bit. You cannot cut, let me just say this. You can cut somebody with a butter knife. Okay. You can do that. You can cut somebody with a fine bit. But with this, the chances are you are reducing the risk because the top is rounded here. Okay? The top is rounded. So the top, when you go around the cuticle area, see how it's smooth on the top? Your chances are you're not going to cut your client's cuticle. So why do we want to reduce cutting our client's cuticle? Why do you want to reduce the chance of cutting them and blood coming out? Because some of y'all, listen, some of these nail techs just they take that green stuff, put it on there, that burns, it burns, but it stops the bleeding, and they'll wait for a second, and then they get right back to doing the nail. Are you supposed to be doing that? No. Okay, you are not. Once you cut a client appointment over, or at least you getting a 9-finger discount, 8-finger discount, however many nails you cut, because Lord, I done walked out of nail salons and all 10 of my fingers are bleeding. Y'all ever had that happen?
No, because I don't play that.
I know you don't. She be like, y'all. She learned from the best. So, with that being said, why buy bits that can cut you when you can buy bits that don't cut you? Why would you do that? Why? But anyhow, people do it anyway. When you get more experienced with the e-file, then I would say you can bring it on up. Now, here is the third type of bit we're going to talk about, which is silicone bits. I don't own one. I don't use them, and I don't think you should either. We have other options, diamond bits, and because people use them. If you're a natural, let's just say you're a natural nail tech. You don't do anything but natural nails. Yeah, you might want to use one because it's used to remove the excess cuticle. It's like think of it like the rubber on the bottom of your sneaker, right? What happens when you are in the gym or let's say the basketball court and you hear it? What do you hear?
Oh, the squeak,
squeak, squeak, squeak. Because that rubber is rubbing against the ground and it's basically scrubbing, right? And leaves scuff marks. Well, with a silicone bit, it's kind of rubbing the cuticle off of the nail plate and it's leaving it shiny instead of what an e-file would do, which is leave it rough. Okay, so does it have a purpose? Yeah. Does it have a use? Yeah, but I don't do natural nails. Most of you are not going to be doing natural nails, and it's one of those things that we have other options, okay, like cuticle remover and a pusher. Okay, but it does have a use, all right, and it will also shine up the nails. Now, another example that I want to show you guys. Here it is. Another example I'm going to show you guys, types of natural bits, is a chamois or a goat hair bit. Okay, now don't mind my chamois bit because I have several of them, but I don't use them on nails because you shouldn't. And if you're going to, you got to throw it away after every use. That's this one. Mine's dirty and it's black like that. Let me tell you why it's black. I use it to clean my jewelry. when you want to shine up a ring, take a ring and make it bling, 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 put this on your drill bit and put a little buffing cream on there, and honey, it will be, but that buffing cream turns it black. It tarnishes. Okay, it's not dirty. It's just from the silver. Yeah. If you ever cleaned silver before, you know it turns black when you're cleaning it. So a clean one would not look like this, but this is what I use it for, and I just brought it so you guys can see. I keep my jewelry nice and clean. So you could use it for that, to also buff a client's natural nails. A lot of men like to get manicures and they don't want to wear any polish. They don't want to sit there and dry under the polish. So you can put buffing cream on the nail. They sell what's called buffing cream, and you turn this on and it will shine up the nail nice and shiny and give it a high shine. Okay.
Is that what the
But these cannot be reused, disinfected, or cleaned because they are a lambskin. They're a skin, so you can't clean it. Okay, it's the same thing they use to dry your car off with when you get a hand wash and stuff like that. Yep, it's kind of like a microfiber towel, but these are actually chamois lambskin or whatever.
What about the ones that look like not fans, but
like these?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So this one is synthetic. It can be cleaned and disinfected. Let me tell you what I like to use this for. If you've never seen my work, some of you have. But my work, I was known for, my salon was called the House of Bling, okay? House, H-A-U-S, because I was bougie, okay? The House of Bling, and I was a Swarovski authorized seller dealer. So I sold Swarovski crystals. I mean, I had at any moment, $10,000 worth of crystal stones in my possession at any moment in time. So I would bling. I was known for my bling and doing very, very, very expensive nails. So one way, because when you start picking these stones up with wax pickers and stuff, they get a little dull. Sometimes you get a little dust around them, and the best way to clean it is when you're done, after you finish the nail, spray it down with alcohol and take this right here, because they make them in different sizes, and turn it on and shine up those stones right before you get ready to take that Instagram picture or whatever, TikTok photo or video, baby. And now if you really want to make them shine, I don't recommend this, but get you some Windex and a Q-tip, and then, I mean, you ain't got to use no filters or no fake bling bling or none of that. It's going to be beautiful. Okay, so it has its uses, right? But most of the time, you can use this for dust removal and stuff from under. It's really hard to get the dust out from under nails sometimes. It's good for that after you finish filing and shaping and cutting and all that stuff. But you can also do the same thing with a nylon brush. You choose what you want, how you want to do things. All right. So everybody got that as far as those natural type of bits that are out there. Again, you will see these on your worksheet. You will see these on your state board. They're going to ask you questions. I don't use half of these bits. I told you, I'm pretty like a tapered carbide, maybe a safety bit here and there, a sanding band just in case, and mostly diamond bits for the natural nail. Hand file most of everything. But on state board, you guys got to take a state board, so that's going to matter. All right, so these are some that you may see. Tapered barrel bits. Those are really, really good for prepping around the cuticle. They're not flat. They have more of a narrow to wide shape, so you can file on the nail without removing the apex of the nail. Now, what do you think those saucer-shaped bits are good for? I think you're thinking the right, but not saying it right. Because your C curve is underneath the nail, right?
Yeah.
So you would put it under there to form the C curve? I guess you could, but you got to think the contact point on this is very thin. Mm-hmm. You're not using it like fully. You're only using that part that's sticking out.
Right.
Right? So you got a diamond shape. The only part that's touching the nail is the tips of the diamond, right? So what we used to use these for a lot back in the day, because see, you guys are all painting French nails now. You're painting it on, right? You're using gel polish or you're using airbrush, and your smile lines are literally like the Joker. They are like sticking up like this all the way to the cuticle line and then coming up like the deep Frenches. I mean, it's a little too much for me, but it's a look, and that's what everybody's doing these days, right? Back in the day, when we first started wearing French nails, we had to do it with pink and white. There was no gel polish. Nobody was polishing using pink acrylic, and they were using all, you know, the opaque acrylic. We were using pink acrylic and white acrylic and making the nails. If you don't know who Tammy Taylor is, you should, as a nail technician, so you don't look stupid when you meet her at you know, one of these shows, and you're like, oh, I don't know who this woman is. Why is everyone standing around her? Because she was the innovator, the very first nail acrylic system I ever used, and she is in the Guinness Book of World Records for doing the fastest set of pink and white sculpted acrylic nails in 13 minutes. 10 fingers, filed, shaped, buffed, top coat, everything sculpted. 13 minutes. I think it might be 13 minutes. It might be less than that. That's who I learned from. That's where she is my mentor. When y'all may look at me and say, I want to be like you, I always wanted to be like her. Okay? And she's still here to this day. She still has amazing products, some of the best on the market. Okay? Tammy Taylor Nails. So in order to fill in, how do you fill in a French tip nail? Because think about it. If any of y'all wear French tips, you know, after about 2 weeks, that French is not where it started, right? It's grown out a bit. And if you're encapsulating it or making it with acrylic, eventually you got to move the French back. You can't just remove the gel polish and paint it back on again like y'all are doing now, right? So what we had to do was take that saucer bit and carve a ditch in the shape of a French. And our Frenches weren't Frenching like y'all's Frenching. Y'all's are the super French. Ours were more like, yeah, it was like, it wasn't. So it's easier to carve out that line with that saucer bit. Just carve it out, and then you would lay the white in that ditch, and now you moved your French back up. Okay, so they were called French fill bits. Okay, French fill bits to carve in that smile line and refill the white. You generally call this, instead of, we call it a backfill rather than a fill-in. You backfilled, that's where that word come from, but now it's kind of interchangeable with fill in or refill. Okay, you backfill the French line, you fill in the pink in the back. Okay, which kind of sounds backwards, but anyway, that's what that was used for. Now what about this bit right here? Y'all seen this bit before? It's on the screen. What do you think?
The top one.
The top one. You've seen it? What does it do? What is it for?
Cutting the nails down, like the length
Of what kind of nail?
of acrylic or a nailing.
Okay, so diamond bits, I don't know if I said this before. You shouldn't be using a diamond bit on acrylic. It's too gentle. A diamond bit will never really cut. Now you can use a diamond bit on gel. So what did I say you can use diamond bits on?
Natural nail.
Natural nails, right? Natural nails. So that disc, you look at, here's one right here. I've got one. Okay, this is how you use it. Because it's probably like, how the hell, what is that for? So this part right here is diamond. And then this part right here, both of them spin. It spins in the E-file. But how do you use it to trim down the natural nails? All right. What we're going to do here, and this is really useful. So I turn it on, right? So it's spinning. You see it spinning. When I touch the outside will stop, but the inside continues to spin. So if you've got a client that's got really short natural nails, really short, I mean, and the type of nails that you really can't fit a file underneath to shorten them, i.e. toenails, right? Some people's toenails are really, the meat around them is really, yeah, it's sticking up, and the toenail's really down and you can't really get in there. How are you going to get a file under it to file it and shorten it or shape it? well, this is how what you would use. So my nails I got a decent free edge on and these are my natural nails, okay? I got a decent free edge on these. So what you would do, this is just as an example, you take this and you can lay this metal part, don't mind the noise, okay? There's gonna be a noise. You can take this metal part and lay it on the skin and it's not gonna cut anything, right? And then you dig underneath their little fat toe skin, and then you press up like this. And look, see how it's cutting my nail, it's trimming my nail? See that? And my e-file stopped, obviously, because I didn't have the power up high enough. So it's gonna trim, I had it on 2, I probably should turn it up. It's gonna trim the nail without, so this is a way of filing down the nail without using a file. Okay?
What's that one called?
Natural nail disc. Damn, I done reshape my nail. Damn. I gotta reshape these anyway. So, and that's like that we fixed. All right. So a natural nail disc, those are really convenient to have. All right. To shorten nails that are hard to file. All right. Now what is this? This is a pedicuring bit, a style of pedicuring bit. It's really big, and you notice that it has holes in it. And what are the holes for? What are these holes in this bit for? What does that do? It's going to prevent heat from building up on the client's skin, because when you are e-filing on someone's foot, okay, first of all, the foot needs to be dry. We don't want to e-file on wet, soggy skin that's been soaking. So I teach you guys, and Shayla will as well, teach you guys when you do a pedicure, there's none of this, let me run your water, I'm busy doing Brianna's nails, I'll be to you in a minute, go soak your feet. Why is that? Because that's what they do, right? I'm busy. Oh, you getting a pedicure? Let me turn on the water. Let me heat it up for you. Let me put on the massager. Watch the TV or to look at your phone while I finish this, and I'll be back. An hour later, your feet are wrinkly, soggy, and you no longer can tell where the callus is, where the hard spots are. You never assess their feet at all. You don't know if that client has psoriasis or has the fungus or anything is, right? Because you never touched it. You never looked at it. You never assessed it. You didn't do a consultation. So what you should be doing, okay, and this is what's going to be in the beginning, because I know I don't know if I told y'all or Shayla told y'all, she's back working in the nail salon, doing a little part-time in the nail salon, right? She doing things all the right way, and folks, I know they look at her crazy when they're like, why you ain't using the foot thingy thing, the cheese grater?
I don't play that.
Okay, why aren't you soaking my foot before why are you doing this dry? Okay, well, because she been to school and the rest of them ain't. Okay, when you get ready, before you, and some of them have, they just still do whatever the client wants and they don't pay attention to what they should be doing. Before you put a client's foot in the water, you should assess it, look at it, because you may not be able to work on it at all. What if they got open wounds? What if they got, have you asked them, are they a diabetic? Do you know if this client has a fungus, or it's because, athlete's foot just presents itself as what? What does it look like? It looks like a dry foot. It just looks like a dry, crusty foot. Very dry and flaky. But a lot of times it's athlete's foot, and you won't know if their foot's wet and been soaking for an hour or 30 minutes or 10 minutes, right?
A lot of them don't use gloves.
A lot of them don't use gloves. Okay, so with that being said, when you sit your client down, the first thing you need to do is look at that foot. You need to see where the calluses are. You need to feel where they are. And if you're a really good pedicurist, and I mean you're going to get the best pedicure of your life if you remove the dry skin first. Okay, because you can't remove dry skin while it's wet, and you can't really remove it at all with this if it is wet. Okay, so what you should do, feel it, find it, file it off. And why is this such a great thing to have? Because if you're anything like me, you don't have flat feet. Some of y'all got flat feet. Some clients have flat feet. I have really high arches in my feet, which makes it hard for me to wear like, you know, heels and stuff because it hurts, right? So with that being said, is it easy for me to put a flat pumice stone or a flat foot paddle to file down the curves of my feet? Is it easy to get a flat or large pumice stone in between the toes? Nope. But it's very easy to do that with this. You get in between those toes, because people got calluses in between their toes. They got them on their little pinky toe. They got, you may have a callus in the palm or the ball of the foot, right? But the thing about these is they need to be on at a high speed. You cannot file a hard callus off of someone's foot at a low speed. Your e-file is just going to die. Okay? So because it has to be at a high speed, it generates a lot of heat. So the holes help the metal from holding in heat. Okay? Now there's, you know, there's that's an example of one. Okay? We've got other ones. This is an example of one that's also a very large bit, but there's no holes. Okay? So you just want to be a little more careful with that one. But notice that they're all diamond bits. Because again, what can we use on the skin? We don't want to be cutting, because carbide bits would cut, which would do the same thing as a cheese grater. And if you cut someone, what happens? What happens when you cut someone? You could bleed. You also, when you cut someone, you create a scar, and then you get a scab, and then you get a hard, it ends up being hard again. So if they're using these things on your feet, then it gets hard, and you just keep coming in. That's why you keep coming in there once a week, because you're cutting up your bed sheets. Bought them nice silk sheets, thought you were going to have some nice sheets, then you get in there and you got to run in them. Because you'll...
I know you mentioned you was going to do like an advance.
Yep, after you guys do the pedicure, I'm offering that in the next probably 2 months. The advanced pedicuring course.
Will that be
and it'll be on a payment plan, because it's not a cheap one, but it is a one good one to have. Once you get it, you can work in a doctor's office. You can I've got a student right now, that's all she's doing, man. She's killing it. If y'all don't know who D'Amica is, one of my former students, Nails by Miki.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got her own suite. She's got the medical chair in there. Her clients don't even soak their feet in bowls. They sit up on a chair, like a dentist chair, and she uses hot towels. So I do dry pedicures. And when we say dry, we're not doing it actually no water. You're using warm towels, moist, wet towels. You got your clients, because those clients that get advanced nail technician pedicures are usually people who are chronically ill. They're sometimes older, maybe they're in wheelchairs, maybe they're young and they're in a wheelchair. They're just not able to get their feet done in a typical nail salon. But they also don't need to go to a doctor, right? So putting them in a chair where they lay back, it's almost like they're in a dentist chair, and they get their feet done. It's so relaxing. She uses a steamer instead of a hot, there's like facial steamer looking things instead of water in a bowl. It's so much cleaner, so much less work. You don't need plumbing. You don't need one of those big chairs like I just got rid of. You don't need all of that. Your client's comfortable, and you can do it on regular people. She does those types of pedicures on me and you with no issues, and it's the best pedicure you ever had. You're gonna walk out of there, your feet are gonna, because when you get a wet pedicure, sometimes you get it done and you walk, by the time your feet dry, they're still hard on the bottom. Because they never addressed the issue, because they never looked at it. They didn't file it while. If you get all the hard skin off before you soak it, you're good. You're golden. Now you're getting a real nice, enjoying pedicure, right? And very much so. Totally different experience. But your client's going to look at you crazy until they get it done. They're like, oh, damn. And they stayed soft, right? Because you didn't cut their skin off and make it grow back. You slowly grinded it off or smoothed it off, and now it's not trying to grow back like a scar or a scab. Make sense?
Would that course be something that we can add onto this tuition?
It is. You do a payment plan. You can add it on. You can add it onto the tuition, or you can do it as a weekly payment plan until we, because it's like I charge $500 for it.
Okay.
Right. Because I don't get the money. It don't go to me. I teach it. I get like $100 out of the whole thing. All of it goes to Miss Janet, who owns she's the person who created it. She's 80 years old. She's been doing this for her entire career. She's the one who created it. She gets the money because she's the one that certifies you.
Okay.
Nail Care Academy.
But what we have to
But I
pass
teach
this
it.
one first?
Nope.
No?
But if you don't pass this one, then that one is worthless.
It's worthless.
It's a certification add-on.
Okay.
It's the difference between certifications and license. You got to get the license to even be able to use that.
Right.
So if you're in school, obviously I know it would be your waste if you didn't, right? I still got paid. You got a worthless certification.
Right.
So yes, while you're in school, you can absolutely do. You don't have to be graduated to do it.
Okay.
Okay. But if you've never gone to school, you can't do it.
Okay.
If someone from the street's like, I want to take that, you won't know about half of the stuff we talking about because we talk about stuff that you've already learned.
Right.
That's why I wait to offer it until you guys have at least done the pedicuring and the nail structure disorders and diseases, because it's a whole lot more disorders and diseases added to that one. Okay.
Right, I wanna
You'll
get on that one.
get there. You'll get there. Don't worry. All right. So we're almost done here. All right. So almost to the last type of bits we're going to talk about is the sanding bands, right? We've all seen sanding bands, and they come in coarse, medium, fine. Bless you. Coarse, medium, fine. You need two parts to this, right? You need the mandrel, which is the metal part that attaches to the sanding band. You need that part. And you also need the actual sanding band. And you guys, just for your information, because I'm sure you didn't know this, but I know you do. Sanding bands are not to be used from client to client. You're supposed to take one off and throw it away when you get a new client. One of the nastiest things that I always see when I do it's time for another salon review. It's time for another.
Jesus. Because they got all the little
It's time for another salon review. Every time. Because I always just let them do a regular manicure. Just do a gel manicure. I go in with my little spy glasses, a little camera. And what do I see? I see this or something like it sitting on the table with
dust on
15 sanding band mandrel, dust all over them. First thing, they just pick one up.
They
You know
wipe.
it's dirty. They don't change it. They don't clean it. They don't spray it with alcohol or nothing.
Reviews, do you call them out on it?
I definitely do, and I always leave them a nice fat tip so they can't say I didn't. The last one I did, I paid $40 for my manicure and pedicure and left her $100 tip because I knew I was gonna talk trash about her on the internet. Sorry, you did wrong.
At least I tipped you.
I tipped you though.
You ain't eat it.
But while you're getting it done, do you say did you change that out, or
Nope.
You just want to see what they're gonna do and you
Because if I say that, then they're gonna know that I'm on the ass.
stay more?
That's what they assume, that I'm
Yeah.
state board.
Uh-huh.
State board don't get services. They walk in with a clipboard and a phone, and they find you. Me, I'm gonna let you. I'm using you for, and I do that because first of all, you can't sue me if you did it.
Right.
It's not like I'm lying. I'm not gonna get on the internet and say, yeah, they did it, but I didn't record that part because I didn't want nobody to see who. No, you're gonna see this. You're gonna see it. The reason I haven't done one in a while is because I really took a risk
Really?
going in one of those places. Like the way the things they were doing was just from what I teach you. And again, it is a low risk. I mean, you think about it, the chances are, but it's still a risk. And you take that risk every time you go in a nail salon and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. Okay? So, sanding bands, I don't know how they do it. I go through 3 or 4 of them with each client. With each client. And I'm like, oh, so you're just going to leave that 4th one still on and use it as the first one for the next client because it's worn down and you can... Are you serious? No. But there's several types of sanding bands out there, several different sizes, okay? Several different... Now you guys are so lucky. Y'all get all the good stuff. The time goes by, y'all get the good stuff. So, we've got the regular size mandrels, which you all have seen that before, right? Because I put them on Miss Shayla's desk and now I can't find them. There they go. We got a bunch of them because we got a bunch of students, but these are the regular mandrels. Get them with free with every e-file. They usually come in the little kit they give you, you know, on the e-file. But now y'all got fancy schmancy ones. You got the teeny weeny ones. I love these. I think they're so cool. They're small. You can get into tight spaces, right? Y'all, they've got silicone. I love this one. This one's a silicone one. And let me tell you why I like it. Okay, the reason why I like it is because it's squishy, right? So this one is metal. So there's no give on this one. So let's just put this in perspective. So I'm pushing down on the nail, and I want to get close around the cuticle. When I push, it's not going to dig a ring of fire because it's going to give a little sponginess to it. I like these, but they are hard to get the band on there. That's the only problem. I'm like, trying to push it on there. When I try to pull it off, sometimes the whole thing just breaks, and I'm like, damn. So you gotta have a few of these, and they're cheap. They're really cheap, but I do like those, and you can sanitize them. And then they got, you know, old fancy pants over here, which I like these too. This one's cute. It got a little diamond on the tip. And then this part right here is flexes. So when you put the band on, when you put the band on, let me grab it. When you put the sanding band on, it's loose until it gets to the back, right? So you put it on, and then it'll squeeze around that, and that keeps it from flying off. Okay, nice and tight. And these are sanitizable and disinfectable too. So these are just more fancy. These work just fine. Okay. Sometimes they get on there and they're on there really, really tight. I recommend that you remove your sanding band while it's in your e-file. Okay, it's gonna be a whole lot easier to take this off while it's locked into the e-file. A lot of y'all try, I don't know why, you just not experienced yet, but y'all will take it out and then try to pull it off, and you're like, I need some pliers. No, just leave it in the e-file and pull it off. The e-file should clamp around it. Okay, unless you got one of them pulley tight. That's a drawback. See, you'll think about that next time you buy one. You'll be like, you know, I probably don't want to buy this one because I got to have pliers to get my sanding bands off. Right. So, okay, everybody got the sanding bands, and now, please, you guys, and me and Arumi talked about this, right? Don't use sanding bands on the natural nail. I don't care how fine it is. It is a file going 1,000 times per minute, even at the lowest setting on your natural nail. It's shredding the nail. You're making the nail thin. We don't want that. Okay? Diamond bits only, or a coarse buffer. And when I say buffers, they have fine, medium, super fine buffers, right? A coarse buffer is probably about the same grit as like it's not going to shred a nail. Okay, so
what's the difference between, like, I mean, I know the difference between the bits themselves, but like, what makes the diamond bits more effective with the natural nail than the sanding band?
Because the particles, and like I said, you're going to want to, they're smaller.
Oh, right.
And think about what they're much finer. Again, they have coarse diamond bits. Don't use a coarse diamond bit. Do not use like this one, this pedicure one that I showed you. That one is a coarse bit. Look at the grit on this one compared to this one.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're gonna use a diamond bit on someone's natural nail, let it be a medium or a fine. Okay, you'll feel it. You'll touch it, and you'll know that it's coarse. Okay, this is obviously for use on calluses because it's so coarse. All right. So the last one we're gonna talk about as far as bits are concerned, and this one is debatable. Everyone wants to debate me on this. Argue with who? Please, not with me. I ain't got time. Do what you want to do, right? But in this classroom, I'm going to teach you the truth. These bits are not meant for use on the cuticle area. Okay? I know y'all see it on Beyonce's internet all day, every day. Okay? I know you do, but I don't care. They take these little bits, these tiny little bits, all right? And they use it on the cuticle, and they're trying to rub the skin off the cuticle. First of all, it hurts. I don't care who you are. It hurts. Do not do that. All right. Here's a big one. Okay. They use big ones too. Right. Now what you can do with this. Okay. I just told you that diamond bits are gentle. Right. They're more gentle. But this is round. So you're like, oh, but it's a diamond bit, Miss Mary. You can use it on the natural nail. Why not on the natural nail? Why not on the cuticle? It cracked. Did it crack? No? You still got it? Oh, probably ran out. Just try another E-file. Why not on the natural nail with this round bit? Look at the shape of it. If I take this right now and I rub it, think about, remember that saucer bit? It was like a diamond. So the contact point was very, very, very apparent. The contact point was the tips of the diamond, right? On the nail. With this, it's almost identical to that. This rounded, so there's only a very, think about where if a basketball's sitting on the floor, is all of that ball touching the floor? Just a tiny little spot of that ball is touching the floor. So what you're doing is you are digging a ditch in your client's nail. You are literally creating a ring of fire in the nail. It's not flat. So you're putting a little ring in the shape of a round, whatever shape, size that you're using. So some people would argue with me and say, well, I only use it on the skin. Why? What are you doing? Why are you using it on this client's cuticle area? They're trying to get rid of that skin, that dry skin. Well, if you're, first of all, like I said, that's painful. It's going 1,000 times per minute on your, just do it on yourself and see how it feels. These are Russian nail techs and all. They're like, oh, it doesn't hurt the client. Ask your client and tell them not to lie. Hook them up to a lie detector test when you ask them that and see if they don't see if it don't go like this. That mess hurts. You are grinding off the skin on someone's very sensitive PNF, proximal nail fold, which is living tissue. Make it make sense. They lying to you. It hurts. And so the one place you can use this. So sometimes you get that dry skin under here, right? Sometimes you have hard skin on the side of your nails here. That is no different than the callus on the bottom of your foot, right? We're not cutting it. We're not grinding it away. We're just trying to make it softer, right? You can do that with it. But here, that area, remember what's under there? What's under there? What part of the nail that if you damage it, no more nail for you? Your matrix. So leave that alone. You shouldn't be putting no electrical devices nowhere near it. Okay? So it's not necessary. So don't do it. That's not what these are for. So what are they for, Miss Mary? What are they for?
Jewelry.
Yes, they're for putting holes and drilling holes into nails because they come in different sizes. They come in carbides where it will literally cut a hole in it. All right? But it's not meant for use on the natural nail or the skin around the proximal nail fold.
Oh, the jewels that got the little, that are actually shaped like diamonds.
Boop.
Oh, okay.
You want to set a diamond in a nail where it's nice and flat that has that looks like a ring, like a, one that has a diamond back to it. Drill a little hole in it.
Oh.
So it's not sitting
to
up,
think of, like,
leaning
what
to the
gems
side.
you would think
Not
you would
only
put
that,
on.
but drilling holes in the nails for like hoops and, y'all
That's
putting,
what I was thinking.
yeah, putting chains on the nails, stuff like that. Great for that, okay? There's also those super, like these. I see people putting these up underneath people's nails, all underneath their PNF all the time. Please don't put that up underneath someone's PNF. That's going to be painful, all right? But this is great for putting a hole in the nail. Perfect for that. Because you're not going to be able to clamp a hole in the nail. You order food? What you order? You've been eating all morning.
I didn't order it. Somebody bring it.
Oh, that's so
But it's
sweet.
some Maryland's.
That's so sweet. Ooh, I love Maryland's.
Now, wait up. You want some?
I'm good. We got sandwiches. She brought sandwiches. All right. So, moving right along. I already told y'all we got to disinfect these bits just like we disinfect anything else. You can see the bits, Tanya. Go to our YouTube. It is on YouTube right now. We are live on YouTube. You can see all of this, what's behind me. Okay? We disinfect them. How are we going to do that? Remove them from the handpiece. Then we're going to do what first? We're not just dropping them in the barbicide, are we? What are we going to do first?
Then clean them first.
Now, what if they got a bunch of junk on them? What if they look like this? What if they look like this right now?
Don't use a nylon brush to scrub.
A nylon brush might do it, but they make these things right now. This one came from Home Depot. Okay, this one I liked it because it had a handle on it. But it's the same exact thing as, where's my other one? This one. These are for nails, okay, that you buy it in a nail supply. All right, so what you do is, if you've got gel or acrylic stuck in there, soaking it in acetone is not recommended, okay? It's not recommended. And you're using hard gel. If you're using hard gel, it ain't gonna come off anyway. So you'll take your little cleaner thing here, and I sell these. I got some if y'all need one, all right? Turn your e-file on, get a little speed behind it, and be careful because these are sharp. I usually poke myself with this every now and then. All right, take your e-file and just, see what I'm doing here? Look at there. See that? Boom. Turn it off, and now all that white dust is off of there. Okay. You can also do this number here. You can, brush it off if it's really chunky, right? And then we would take it, soap and water, scrub it, clean it. That's why I say have a few of them, okay? And then once you wash them, clean them with soap and water, what do? We drop them in the barbicide, or what do we do?
You
dry them, then barbicide. In the barbicide for how many minutes?
10 minutes.
Don't leave them overnight. Why? What could happen? What could happen? You're not extra cleaning them. It could rust. They could rust, and then and anything that rusts gets dull. And you want these to be sharp, don't you? You don't want them to get dull. Okay? So, what happens if you take them out in 8 minutes? They're not fully disinfected. Okay? Now, they do make little disinfecting jars that are about this big around with a little basket. I have one of those. They're for your bits. Can you put your bits in an autoclave? Absolutely. Get you one of those little packets for those. They make them in small packets for the autoclave.
But not
okay.
the plastic ones.
The plastic ones. Which plastic ones? Because one bit we didn't talk about were these.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Now, are these plastic, or are they? What are these called? Are they plastic? These are called ceramic bits. So what is something that's ceramic? When you think of ceramics, what do you think of? Pottery, right? And what is pottery? Like glass, right? You would break it. It's almost like a glass, right? So that's what these are. So these can be put in the autoclave. Okay? They can be. But this part, you cannot. Take this off. Always take these off because they are plastic. They will melt. What about this? Can I put this in the autoclave? No, that's going to melt. Okay? So any of your metal, carbide, ceramic bits can go in the autoclave. But anything like your silicone, your, I don't think they have plastic bits, but silicone bits, okay? Can't use those.
The
all
ones
right?
on Amazon, like the ceramic one, those ones are plastic.
Really?
Yeah, because when I was like first starting, I used that, and then the ones you gave us when we did the Valentine's Day thing,
totally different, right?
Totally different.
I need to see the one you talking about then, because I don't think I've run across those.
They look exactly like those. They're just plastic. Because when I try to file them off, the actual bit gets like
what?
Yeah, I'm bringing it.
Yeah, bring it. I need to see that. They selling y'all some fugazi stuff on the internet. I swear. All right. So let's talk about how we hold our e-file and things that you should and should not do. Okay. So first and foremost, the best way for you to practice with an e-file. Now we're going to use an egg today, but even an egg is not going to give you the experience that your client's going to feel, right? So who are you going to practice on?
Myself.
Okay. You are only going to know the pressure that's needed if you feel it on yourself. The pressure you're putting on your client by putting it on you. Okay. I try not to try new stuff on clients and go, did that hurt? Try it on yourself first. Okay. More than likely, you're not going to sue yourself. All right. All right. So, and that's going to give you more confidence to work on clients. All right. So, let me put my slide up right. So practice on yourself, practice on an egg, practice on something that, you know, removing gel polish, and that's what she's doing over there, because we're going to do it a little different than we did yesterday. We're going to actually put some gel, because y'all played with some gel last week. We're going to put some gel on the egg, and you're going to remove the gel and see if you can remove it without cracking the egg. Yep. You'll want to eat that before you start that. All right. Or practice on like a bare tip, right? You can take a tip, one of those sticks with the tip on it, or one of those wooden sticks with a tip glued on it. Put some gel on there. Try removing it. See if you get down to the tip, the natural tip, and if you do, then you're probably damaging nail plate. Okay. You could also put acrylic right directly on top of a tip. Try to remove it. See how much you get off without going to the natural nail. All right. So when we're e-filing, you want to sit up straight. You want to have your elbows on the table. You need to be having something to rest on. You don't be filing up in the air, filing standing up. If you are, then you need to brace yourself. Okay. Also, you're going to hold your handpiece like a pencil. All right. We're not holding it like this. Some of y'all hold your pens and pencils like this. Holding it like a pencil, however you hold it. You will find what's comfortable for you. Okay? You're also going to want to have a steady grip on this. You don't want it to be just kind of laying in your hand, because if it flies out, you're going to have a problem. All right? Now that fulcrum finger. Everybody remember what the fulcrum finger is? Right? You know what it is, because you got to have one while you're tattooing people. Okay? So a fulcrum finger is when you take, and it might not be your pinky. They have it here in the book, the pinky. It could be your ring finger. If you got long nails on, it could be your nails. Right? But in general, so I'm going to demonstrate with the egg. Ooh, these fancy eggs. They got 2 covers. Publix, okay. All right. So when you hold the egg, or when you're holding a client's finger, let me put this on the screen. So this is what it is, Jasmine. When you're holding it, you're not going to do this. You're not going to just be filing on the nail. You need to kick out a finger, whether it's a pinky, 2 fingers. It might be the ring finger. Hell, it might even be, you might do this number right here. Okay? But you got to have something to balance with. Because if you're doing this back and forth, and your fingers are just you don't have no control. You're not going to be in the same spot every time. Okay? You're going to be kind of all over the place. You do this when you're polishing already. When you're polishing, you take your polish, you're going to hold your finger, and you got your finger rested here, and you're polishing like this. Otherwise, you're making a mess. It's just natural. Okay, so this will eventually come natural to you, and every time what you have on your hands will change the way you hold your, you know, that's why some nail techs are like, I can't do nails when I got nails on. That's why some nail techs only have nails on one side and not the other, because they cannot, like, it might be impossible for her to tattoo when she's got 3-inch fingernails on her tattoo hand. You might be able to do it, I don't know, but some people. So you may not, it may behoove you when someone's paying you for something that's permanent for the rest of their life to not have no nails on that day.
That's my stretching hand.
Oh, that's the one you stretch the skin out with. See? So, fulcrum finger is important. Excuse me. All right. I got some. I don't know why I must have swallowed my own spit. Okay. All right. We back. So practice with the machine off. Hold the bit in the center of the nail, and we're moving from left to right. Or if you're left-handed, from right to left. We don't have no lefties in here. Now this is what I was hearing yesterday. I don't want to hear this. What's happening when you're doing that? You lighting your client on fire. Okay? You're putting heat directly on the nail plate. You didn't lift up not one time. Okay? So what I want to hear, I'm trying not to break this egg. Let me get a bit here. What I want to hear, okay? Y'all hear JoJo over there? Y'all hear the sounds of the e-files over there? You can see the TV. You got to go to YouTube. You want to see the TV? Go to YouTube. All right. What I want to hear. Okay? I don't want to hear this. That you're going to be lighting your client up. And they're not going to like you very much. And then you're going to say, does that hurt? Is that burnt? Nigga? And some of them going to sit there and just breathe through it like they're having a baby. Not me.
Aren't you working against the rotation when you go back and forth like that too?
You are, and you could damage your e-file that way. So we want our e-files in forward because we are right-handed. Y'all two are right-handed. If you were left-handed, you'd be going in reverse. But bringing it to you. So constantly lifting up off the nail. Now when you'll see nail, like I'm a professional nail tech, right? You'll see me, I'll start around the cuticle and then I'm lifting, and then I get to the long part of the nail that's not attached to the client's nail bed and you'll hear me, why is that? Why is that okay? Because it's not attached to nobody's nail bed and skin and there's no heat being generated. And if it is, it don't matter because it's not touching their live tissue. Okay? So when you get to the really long part of the nail, you might hear that sound as you go out, right? But that's totally different. All right? We don't want to light the clients on fire. Now, speaking of fire, that is what rings of fire look like. And everybody in here has had them. Everybody has had their feelings hurt by the nail tech before, okay? And felt that pain. Now, we don't want that. If you have been seeing a client for a long time and you take their nails off and their nails look like that, you did that. It's your fault. That means you need to lay up off of that e-file. You're putting way too much pressure. And this happens when your initial nail set and then every fill-in, you'll see that line. Okay? Rings of fire. And they do hurt. And there's nothing you can do about that. That has to grow out. Okay? Now, I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what the internet says, what TikTok says. Maintenance on nails is how long? Every what? Every 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks is pushing it, and I'm not going to be happy with you because I got a motorcycle payment to make, and I need to see you twice a month. Okay? With a broken nail every now and then. Okay? Exactly. It's not that it's necessarily the nails look bad. It's that you're putting pressure on your client's natural nail. Okay? It's too much work for me. Too much work for me. I'm gonna charge you extra because you waited so long. It is not a flex for you nail techs that are on this internet talking about 6 weeks, no lifting. Lies, you lying. Your client glued down their nails in between. You just ain't showed that part. Okay? Your client has a fungus growing under there. You didn't show that part. You didn't show that your client's nail is broken from this side to this side underneath the nail. You didn't show that part. Okay? And it's not a flex. You are hungry. And I don't mean physically, but your bank account is, because you should have got paid 3 times in between those 6 weeks. You gonna wait 6 weeks to eat because your client ain't got no money? Listen, y'all, I'm gonna say this and you can take it how you want to take it. But if you start expecting your clients to do certain things, you will weed out a lot of people. Do you want broke bitches sitting in your chair? If she gotta wait 6 weeks to get her nails done, that means that she ain't got no money to tip you. And she gonna ask for everything under the sun for the cheapest price. Come late, not bring you no Dunkin' Donuts along with hers because she's late. Like, wait, I'm gonna be late. Then to come in, see, y'all be killing me. I'm gonna be late, and then y'all come in with McDonald's. And I'm like, well, damn. You was late because you was at McDonald's. You could have at least said, Miss Mary, you want something? You know what I'm saying? I'm just joking with you. But if a hit dog will holler now, they always do. But I'm just saying, They're the ones, you don't want those kind of, do you want that kind of client? Is that your ideal client? Do you want the client that's going to look at you, smile, and tell you all her problems, laugh and joke and kiki, and make you hungry every 6 weeks? And act like it's okay? It don't matter. And you over here like, I'm tired of seeing her. I'm so sick of her. Every time she come in here, I got to do 6 weeks. And then they look at their nails and go, this one's crooked. And it's going to stay crooked because you crooked. If you start asking for certain clients and demanding certain things from these certain clients, and a lot of this stuff is not stuff you shouldn't be asking for, you will weed out a lot of the riffraff. Let me tell you something. We are the last on the totem pole when it comes to this here beauty industry.
Yes.
Okay? We are the last thing that people get done. They're going to get their hair done. They're going to get their lashes done. They're going to go even get their makeup done once a week to go to the club. But their fingernails be hanging off. Y'all see them in the pictures. You're like trying to hide their hands, or they like, hey, and 3 nails missing. Because they're like, I couldn't afford to get my nails. Because nails are not a necessity. We're last on the list. We're last on the list to get done. Okay? If I don't get my nails done, I'll just take them off and polish them and wear my natural nails or whatever, right? Because that's just the thing. But in all other industries, whether it's hair, whether it's lashes, okay? Think about this. I'm going to use me as an example. So I got these extensions in, right? She charges me more to tighten them up if I wait 6 weeks versus 4. Because it's more work. Hell, it's hanging down to here. Now she got to probably take the whole thing out and do it again. If I wait 4 weeks to get my lashes done rather than 3, she charged me an extra $20. Why? Because more lashes missing. She got to put more in there. Hell, she might have to soak them off and do another set, which is exactly what she had to do with me this Thursday. Did I complain? Hell no, because I didn't want no half done lashes. I didn't want her to be like, oh, she want to complain? And guess what? Volume who? Where? No, you about to be some natural wispies today. You pay. When you go to the car dealership and they tell you, oh, you're 50,000 miles past the oil change. Sorry, your motor just blew up. Guess what you do? You go, damn, I should have got that oil changed. And now you got to buy a new motor. Either you do it or you ain't got no car. But we try to appease these people. Oh, I give you a discount if you. Oh, it's okay. Stop doing that. And stop. I don't care about the people that get on TikTok and say, my nail tech, how dare you charge me for extra length? Don't they charge you extra for 22 inches versus 26? Don't you? If you want small braids, you're going to pay more than the jumbos? Stop playing with me. Seriously, y'all got to stop letting these people run over you. I don't care if we are last on the totem pole. I'm at the top of that totem pole. Y'all asses can stay at the bottom and keep begging for clients. I don't beg for clients. That eventually you get to the point where people will seek out folks that have business about themselves.
And they'll be lasting longer than the other ones too.
People will seek you out because you are professional. And they tired of going to the nail salon or the nail tech that thinks, oh, they shit don't stink. And they can make you wait an hour when your appointment was an hour ago. Like you ain't got nothing else to do. I will be quick to tell you, oh, you said you're going to be 30 minutes late? We're going to have to reschedule. Why? Because I'm not putting that on my other clients that are going to be on time. That's your fault. That's you. That's on you. That's not on me. And that client will appreciate you and they'll never leave you because of that. So what, you lost somebody that don't care about your time. Stop doing that. Okay, maintenance is every 2 weeks. 3 weeks maximum. 4 weeks is pushing it. And I might not want to see you no more after that. And you be nice about it. See, I'm not really nice about it. But what you can do is just, you forever don't have a space available. I'm sorry. You booked? Let me refund you. Because I don't know why that space was open. I'm not even available that day. I'm going to be in Miami. Sitting right there doing somebody else that's going to be on time and going to tip you in, bring you coffee. And came every 2 weeks. Now, do I have clients that come every 2 weeks? Not really. But every 3? Absolutely. every 4, charge them extra, and they don't complain because they got money. I don't deal with broke hoes. Sorry, I just don't. And if they broke, they save up their money to come to me and happy to give it to them. Just saying. Pick your poison. I like mine to go down nice and easy. Casket ready. All right. So, how are we going to do a fill in? We need to remove most of the old nail, right? If you're going to cut down, you need to cut that down before you start laying acrylic. Okay. And your clients that complain about cut down is what? Work. Cut down is a lot of work. And it's not just, oh, it's just a cut down. Cut down some nails and tell me if it's just a cut down.
No.
What do they look like after you cut them down?
Crazy.
Thick. They're thick at the tip because the apex has moved, right? So now you cut it down. Now you got to thick. Now you got to, and then you got to rebalance, bring, because it's curved over. You got to bring it. Don't talk to me about what I'm a professional at. I'm quick to tell them. But again, see, I'm at a level in my career where people, I can do that. You guys gonna have to be real nice about it. Just saying. Be nice, be as nice as you possibly can to still keep the client until you get to the level where you can say, I'm sorry, I can't do that anymore. All right. Or just set your rules and regulations from day one. All right. And the things that you do. If everybody did it, we wouldn't have these issues. But some folks are so hungry for their money from week to week, and I get it. I get it. But this is the type of industry where we shouldn't be, we shouldn't, like I just told y'all, I just bought that bike, right? You know what I said? I didn't worry about, oh, I got to get another student, which I can say, okay, I need 2 more students so that I can make that, well, not really. I don't really. But if I could say, this is what because I got 3 new clients just for the girls that work at the Harley Davidson. 3. Them girls gonna make my motorcycle payment every 2 weeks. I'm gonna pay that bike off in half the time. Cause that's 3 clients, $150 each. Bike payment $210. Insurance less than $250. Paying that bike off early. That's how I look at bills as clients. Clients are bills. They're paying bills. And you should too. All right? So, we're not going to go into how you do 2-color Frenches and stuff because y'all ain't really doing that. Pink and whites. Cutting out, carving out the... But see how she's doing that with the saucer bit? Taking it and kind of... then carving it out. I know. I knew I had a picture somewhere, but there's the picture of how they... And if it's a deep, the way y'all are doing it now, that's too much work. We soaking that off and doing that again. We soaking that off and doing it again. Or we're going to file it down real low, build up the pink, and then do the white again. It's just too much, all right? Shortening, how are we shortening the nails? We're holding that E-file at a 90-degree angle. Or not, well, some of y'all do that shape now. How y'all do it? Y'all hold the file like... Y'all hold it at an angle to try to get that. You know what I'm saying? It looks flared, but it's not duck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Well, if you're cutting them down to make them short, you want to hold it at a 90-degree angle to shorten it, right? And then you go under the nail.
Vertically or the horizontal?
Vertical, this way. So you can ring and do this number. Don't just go, oh, because you're going to kill your motor. Do it and start from one side, moving left and right. Okay?
I've been doing it. I've been doing it the horizontal way. I'm like,
what do you mean?
Like this way, and then doing it like that.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah.
You gonna kill your E-file.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like this.
I need to find a better way to do it.
All the way down.
Like it's way easier.
Much easier, and use it if you need to use a carbide bit.
Okay.
Okay, something that has a little little power behind it. All right. Now, let's see here. We talked about pedicures already. Y'all make sure you're using a mask or some type of something because the dust is horrible. All right. And it doesn't seem like much now when you're new and you're a young nail tech, but you know, when you start doing this for 10, 15 years and this stuff builds up in your lungs. Okay. So you don't want that. All right. So, let's see. Brushing manicures. They're supposed to be done with a file. You see what she's doing with that? Lifting that skin up. Do not do it. It is beyond your scope of practice. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just like Just don't do it. Get you a good dust machine if you can. Dust extractor. All right. For the e-file. And also anytime you're practicing. So, because that dust goes everywhere. All right. So everybody got a good understanding of this subject. Okay. So now I'm going to show you guys what you're going to be doing. Okay. Jojo, will you bring me that lamp? And then bring your egg so that I can show them what it's going to eventually look like. Okay. All right. Wow. And it hasn't cracked yet? Okay. So you've been doing 2 layers of gel? Okay. So y'all see this. Well, I'm going to put this here. So you guys have practiced a little bit with gel. But today you're going to take this egg, okay? And we're going to put 2 layers of gel polish on it. How many layers is on here right now? 2. Okay, so I'm going to wipe away. Now, you're going to need to wipe away the remember that tacky layer, that inhibition layer? You're going to need to wipe that away before you start filing, or what's going to happen, Jojo?
It's going to get stuck in
It's going to get clogged and stuck in your bit, okay? So see how it's shiny here? I'm going to wipe that away. Put some gloves on when you're doing this, okay? Now, you're going to take an e-file, and we have several. Somebody, she could use these. You can use one of those portable ones. You can have this one, whichever, okay? You're going to take your e-file and a sanding band. Now, I've already got this one on here, so I'm just going to use this one. You're going to start at a very low speed. I'm at 3 right now, all right? And what does this symbolize? What does the egg symbolize? The natural nail. The natural nail plate, yes. Okay? And we put gel polish on top of a natural nail. So we put 2 coats. You're going to, now she did a really big spot here. You could probably do about half this size, a square, like the size of a toenail, okay? But we're going to take this and we're going to try to remove the gel off of this nail, okay? And you're going to do this. I think this is super fine. I need to get another one. Sorry. Let me get one that's a little bit more coarse. That's medium. This is medium. Okay. Now you guys are just going to use those blue ones and the bigger ones. This is just the one I have in front of me right now. Okay. We've got plenty. And you might go through 10, 12 of these. Okay. Don't feel bad. We got plenty. Okay. Start at a low speed. All right. You hear how it's grinding off here? You want to be careful because if you crack your egg, we got a problem. You don't want cracked egg, okay? So the practice here is for you to practice removing the gel polish completely off of the nail. Okay, would you remove it completely off of the nail? Would you need to do that? What would you do instead? Right, we would remove the top coat, right? Because the top coat has more of a hard gel consistency, right? That wouldn't soak off very well. But we would remove as much as we could. Let's just say remove the shine, and then we would soak the nails in acetone. But y'all know that y'all ain't doing that on toes and stuff like that. And in real life, you're trying to get as much off as you can so that time is money, right? So we're going to try to remove as much of this as possible. And once we get past and I don't want to hear y'all doing this. Okay, but see how I'm getting past almost to the white? Oh, I'm sorry. Y'all see where I'm almost to the white here? That's why I don't want y'all to do this big. She probably was doing it forever, trying to get that whole patch off. That big. I'm also using a very fine sanding band. You have the blue ones, right? They're a little bit coarser. All right, so you're gonna do about a size that's like square like this, maybe like not even half of this. Okay, so that way you're not at it because you'll be at it a little longer than this. So see how I'm getting most of this off with my e-file? That's what I want you guys to do. Let me move this back. Okay. Whoop, there we go. We're down to the white. Don't go no further than that. Okay. And remove the gel. This is going to get you guys used to removing. Somebody got some food. Who got food?
Chick-fil-A.
Come on in. You over here? He walking around like, am I in the wrong spot? Where you supposed to be at? 1001? That's it. Come on in. Who got food?
Zoe,
Speak up now. That man looking for you.
can nobody hear you?
Nobody. All right. So y'all see what we're doing here? She said I'm ready. Okay. All right. So that's what you guys are doing. And try again. You don't have to do a spot quite that big. Okay. I'm gonna put a search. Yeah, no, you're okay. I just know that if they do it that big, they're gonna be all day on that one spot. I want you to be able to do this in several spots. So thank you. All right, so try to do maybe a spot that's about the size of a thumbnail. Okay? You see about that big? All right? Over and over on the same spot. Don't move to another spot after you remove it one time. Okay? Keep count of how many times you've done it. Between the two of you, keep doing that. Between the two of you, whoever removes it the most amount of times without breaking the egg, don't rush through this. Because one of y'all gonna be rushing and you're gonna crack the egg or drop the egg on the floor. It don't matter. She's still a she. Huh?
I didn't do it last time.
You didn't? Oh, you gotta do it today?
Yeah.
Get to it then. All right, grab you an egg so we can. That's what this is gonna take all your e-file grades off today. You won't have no more e-file grades. You're still gonna use the e-file, but that's how you're gonna get. I think it's like 10 hours today. Okay, so do as many of them as you can. Okay, in one spot. Pick a gel color. Here's a lamp you can use. Jojo, unless you wanna do, you're good. Well, you're good. So we'll give you hours for the day. You won't have to stay all day. You can go ahead for the rest of the day. And there's the eggs. Okay. Here's the bits. Jojo, will you bring those sanding bands? You can use those, but I think those bits were better. And that e-file, she can give you that one. And then, or unless you want one like this. Okay. You can have this one. All right. So if there's not any questions in the live, there's that, and there's where did all those bits go? Oh, here they are. Here's mandrels. Pick one. Grab you a gel color. Here's my lamp. Matter of fact, you and y'all can put it right between y'all. And she's gonna bring you the sanding bands. She's got the sanding bands. And then y'all get you a towel so that it catches y'all's dust. Some acetone. Acetone. Puppy pads, yes, because Elise made some over there and then she left them on her table. You can grab some from Elise over there. Okay, so I'm gonna end this live on the Zoom. On YouTube. If no one else has any questions. Hey Quincy. Hey Exotica. I came from TikTok. Welcome. Y'all know where to come now, so y'all can see everything. Let me put me on the screen here. If y'all don't have any more questions, we are going to cut the live off. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we are out of here until next week. Bye.